The following podcast contains naughty language and ridiculous situations. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey, everybody, who wants to travel all the way to Bloomington, Minnesota? Well, I do. And why is that? Because that is where the Mall of America is. And what's going on in the Mall of America that's so important that I want to go there, and possibly you guys too? Well, the Mall of America is having a 45,000 square foot haunted attraction this Halloween. From September 15th to October 31st, they're going to be bringing on this creature called Onion Head's Revenge. Now, there is a backstory to Onion Head, and according to local legend, as they put it, Onion Head is the cruel nickname forced upon a young man from Sidell, Louisiana, who was brutally murdered by a vigilante mob after being wrongly accused for the murder of a young woman. Consumed by rage, the assailants hacked his body into 13 pieces and scattered them in a nearby cemetery. Swearing vengeance, his mother put a hex on the townspeople who took her son in the months following. These responsible for Onion Head's murder were each victims of gruesome deaths. Locals still report sightings of a monstrosity hideously stitched together, stalking the cemetery and out for revenge. So at the Mall of America, there's this whole big deal going on with Onion Head's Revenge, and it's going to be a huge attraction there. I say we all head down there. Let's hop into Raven Shadow's car. He's paying for gas. Welcome to Trick or Treat Radio.
Welcome to episode 572 of Trick or Treat Radio. Trick or Treat Radio is the world's most tardy podcast and is recorded in front of an undead studio audience here at Castle Wolfenstein. And right away things are not working. This is fucking awesome. This is great. I'm having so much fun. This is the best. I mean, like, live shows, everyone should do them. It's so much fun. It's like a new adventure every single week. Like, everything is so wonderful, and we don't have to edit. We save so much time, and then we have an hour fucking technical issues. All right. Well, hey, we're here. You guys don't know any different, aside from the fact that if you're watching it live, we're an hour late. But yeah, and also you might notice if you're watching live, we got a different view. Look at that, Michael Raven. Oh, you can smoke on the show now. What is that all about?
Boy. Yeah.
Wait, you sabotage it. I know you fucking sabotage it so you can smoke on the show. You son of a bitch.
I was like, Ollie, click the blue wire. I'll get the yellow wire. Which one is it?
Oh man. Well, now that now the genie's out of the bottle. Let's go with that. Now that the genie's out of the bottle, I don't know if the listeners and viewers are gonna let us put it back in the bottle. They like seeing you up close, I think, Raven Shadow.
Yeah, no, I don't though. I'm a lot better looking far away.
I agree with that.
As the fires of hell in here for some reason.
Why is
I
the
have two
basement
ACs going?
Why is the basement hotter?
I don't know. I think I was running around trying to wrench it off. So like, I feel like I'm melting right now.
Well, your camera is actually like pretty low quality, so we can't see that.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
It's like
Is it better now?
This is like it looks like the quality of a camera from like like the mid 90s. Well, actually maybe not mid 90s, like early 2000s, I'd say.
What's is good? I have Windows 94 on this. They told me that was good.
Yeah, this is good. That's the best one.
And Lotus Notes.
Yeah. Where's the Millennium Edition? You rocking that?
One of these shelf drawers, I think.
That must have been Windows 99, though, actually, Millennium Edition. So, all right. So here we are. We are live, sort of. Mostly, yes, we are live. And MZ is sweating like crazy up in his attic. Raven Chow's sweating like crazy in his basement. And I'm actually somewhat comfortable on my 3rd floor apartment. Imagine that.
How does that work?
Well, like as hot as you guys might be, just think about what the fucking studio would be like right now on a 90-degree day.
Oh my God.
Oh, forget it.
Right. See, like it would be unbearable. We would just be like fucking like dropping ice down each other's pants or something.
We almost podcast.
I was gonna say, remember what it was like during our last show there, and it was like working in a sauna.
That was the one where we recorded during the day, right? Like on a weekend day.
Yeah,
is that what you mean?
Yeah.
That was it was unbearable. Yeah. Oh shit!
Yeah.
Corny says zoom out. You believe this?
It's fucked up, Corny.
Dude's been telling you to zoom in forever, and now you're zoomed in, and he doesn't like it.
Yeah. How's that in your
Corny?
big screen?
You should be lucky that we're on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Raven Shaw, I thought for sure you'd be sitting at the bar.
Don't be so demanding.
I would have been, but we're still. I still have some leftover paint supplies on there.
Oh, okay.
So we're still in transition down here in the shadow cave, aka shadow cabinet. So we're still working some things out.
Does a room that has a nickname need another nickname?
Well, yeah. I mean, you have like Superman. He's the Man of Steel. He's the last son of Krypton. He's the Man of Tomorrow. Batman's the Dark Knight, the Gotham Guardian.
I said room, not person, but okay. Or fictional
character.
But
I'm just saying, I was making a comparison. Montezero's got, there he is. Yeah.
What did you say?
Yeah, it's hot.
So, yeah, here we are, everyone. Anyways, on tonight. What?
Definitely worth the wait.
Yeah, for anyone that was waiting with bated breath. Like, hopefully, yeah. Maybe masturbated breath or something. That's weird. That sounds weird. Never mind. I didn't say that.
Sounds sexy, Wolf. You're getting dirty tonight.
Well,
Wolfie after dark.
MZ heard me fucking swearing at your fucking computer for like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Like this
I could hear it here.
It was like he had Tourette's or something. You should have heard him, man. He was going off.
That's the thing. It doesn't happen offie. It doesn't happen.
I'm sorry, Asifa.
If I had a nipple for every time. No, but it doesn't happen a lot. But when Wolfie goes off the rails, he fucking goes off the rails.
Oh, yeah.
It's scary sometimes.
It's like 0 to 60. There's no in between, So
yeah.
And it's scary. It gets a little scary.
I don't know. Have you guys even seen it that much?
I saw the needle in the red a couple times.
The needle in the red.
Yeah.
The Fast and the Furious.
Yeah. And because I'm kind of a loose cannon, maybe. Sometimes.
Yeah, you can be a loose cannon. Yeah.
Yeah, but then when you get mad, then it makes me mad.
Does it make you even more mad?
Yeah, it's like
I have no anger issues at all.
Says the guy that almost threatened to quit the show again because he couldn't get the movie to watch a couple weeks ago.
That's true.
By the way, I have bronchitis. You guys remember last week I was like struggling a little bit? I have bronchitis. So
really?
Yeah. But I mean bronchitis is just like
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's I mean it's not, it's just like fucking swelling of the fucking bronchial of, not, I don't know if even swelling, it's just irritation. So I think it was from the fucking wildfires. That came down here because it's the weirdest fucking thing. Me, Tanya, and Ozzy, all three of us have bronchitis. How fucking weird is that?
Wait. The dog has bronchitis?
Yeah. We brought Ozzy to the vet last Friday. So like basically a week ago tomorrow. And we went through the whole gamut, like, because they're like, oh, that's a bad cough. Like, we got to check his heart. And we're like, oh, God, like, what the fuck, like, But thankfully, it just was irritation. So we're all on antibiotics and steroids.
Jesus Christ.
Gonna get jacked.
Yeah.
It's so fucking weird. Yeah, I've never heard of like an entire two people and a dog all getting sick at the same time.
That's crazy. Have you all had chicken pox? Because now I'm worried.
We're gonna have a chickenpox party.
There you go.
God damn it. So I mean, not that anyone asked, but I'm feeling a lot better.
We got it. No, sorry, Wolfie.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying that to be a
Jeez.
jerk. I'm just saying, like, people out there, like, they don't fucking care.
They do. I care.
I care.
I care.
See, I'm so like not medically savvy that I wasn't sure if that's like something that goes away or if now it's like diabetes. Like, oh, do you always have bronchitis, bro?
Well, you can have
Like-
chronic bronchitis.
Because I have chronic.
Yeah,
I'm downstairs.
yeah. I think you can't just
That's
combine the two.
Bronchitis.
Bronchitis. Walter Cronchitis. I got Walter Cronchitis. Oh my God, I can't even say it now.
Walter Cronchitis.
Oh shit! Is that
No, I
our?
lost you.
Is that our? What do we call it? The moment of holy shit! What did we call it last week? Oh, the rare moment of eloquence.
Yes. No, that has not occurred yet.
No, not yet. Let's see. So we also have Angry Townsman's hanging out. He says, "Evening all. What's up, Dangerous Donnie?" Let me check the other chats. Nothing yet. I think most people probably gave up on us after an hour. All right, so we're going to try to breeze through this a little bit more than we might normally because we got a movie to talk about. We are 2 weeks away from our 11-year anniversary show. And so, yeah, I mean, we should probably take it easy, kind of like ease into the next couple weeks. And then who knows? It's going to be a fucking 7-hour fucking fiesta. I don't know. I'm on drugs.
No. Yeah, boy, you're on gas. I don't need a break tonight, so we can keep going, baby. We can just...
Oh, that's true. You don't need a break because you can just smoke all you want.
You can smoke all you want now.
Oh, there might be some advantages to this.
Yeah. And when we come back from commercial, you'll be here.
So, Raven Shadow, that means since you said you don't need a break, you can't get up. You have to stay tethered to your chair. You can't get up.
Well, I may have to get up.
No,
Depends on...
no breaks, Raven Shadow. That's his new nickname.
I can be tied to you like an anchor.
Oh, see, Evil Corny cares. He says, I care. I'm glad Tanya and Ozzy are okay. You too, Wolfie.
Oh, shit.
Thanks, Corny. All right, so I don't know if I mentioned it, but tonight we're going to be talking about the film The Blackening, which was very heavily requested from listeners, especially two that are in the chat right now, Evil Corny and Angry Townsman.
Shit.
So we'll be talking about that film in just a little bit. And we do have some voice messages to get to and maybe some other stuff. Who knows? Probably some kind of trouble. We haven't been having as many arguments lately now that Aries isn't here. The occasional one, but I feel like that was like that he brought that to the table.
Yeah, something's escalated.
Yeah. I still feel like there's something to the fact that when MZ returned, Aries left. Like there must be some sort of like shared energy or power there. Something along those lines.
It is weird.
Yeah, it is weird.
But no, I think we've had a lot of... I do miss Aries very, very much. But I think we've had a good run as of late. I like the dynamic. I've been having fun.
Well, that's what's most important. You having fun.
Thank you.
Doesn't
You
matter.
having fun is vital.
Yeah, the rest of us doesn't matter. It's all about your fun.
Well, you guys having fun?
Yeah, not tonight.
Oh, yeah. Let's take tonight off the table.
Yeah, no, it's been fun. especially the last couple weeks. Rachel's always awesome having on the show. Josh is he's one of the dudes, man. Just one of the dudes.
He's a brother. Rock.
Yes. Rock. Oh man, yeah, he's something else. That's for sure. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Shut up.
Oh shit. So, anything you guys want to talk about this week before? I'm not going to rush it along too much, but I don't want to like take up an hour. Maybe 15, 20 more minutes of shooting the shit. But anything else you guys want to bring up? Anything you saw this week? Interesting, exciting, different?
I need some news. I know it's not horror, MZ. Bear with us. But there was some details that leaked about James Gunn's Superman legacy picture.
I don't think they leaked. I thought that they announced it.
Well, yeah, fine. Leak, announce.
Yeah, I wanted to get your. I actually was going to go there.
Nice.
But I want to get your take. I know MZ, you can tune out. You don't give a fuck about comic book movies. But yeah, Raven Shadow. So just give me the quick hit. What do you think so far?
So they announced some other characters appearing. One of which is Nathan Fillion portraying my either third or fourth favorite Green Lantern, Guy Gardner.
Well, considering there's how many? At least 2,814. There's more than that, but if there's at least that many, then that's a pretty good ratio, right?
Right. But this the mushroom one is fucking whack. Fucking.
Well, I mean, Gnort has to be like number 1 through 3 at least, right?
Gnort, oddly enough, it's probably like
6 or 7.
Like right before Mogo, the planet.
Yeah.
But no, Guy Gardner. It's cool. I mean, Nathan Fillion is a great pull for the nerd community. Because he can kind of ease the nerds like who are flipping out over.
You can ease the teabag.
Ease the teabag. Been rumored to play a lot of characters. I think he's a little bit old for long term for Guy Gardner. Even though I dig the aging, nothing old, but like I'm sure there's a lot of picture deal. And then again, I always kind of pictured Bill Burr with a hairpiece as Guy. I thought he'd be killer as that. But I think
Bill Burr would be a good choice. Yeah, actually,
right?
That would be fucking good.
Especially after his turn in Star Wars, like he's a redhead, he's a ginger. But I'm pretty excited for Nathan Fillion. I'm forgetting the actor's name who's playing Mr. Terrific, Johnny. But he's killer. He was Darwin in X-Men First Class.
Yeah, I'll get his name.
And I don't know the work of the girl who's playing Hawk Girl, but she looks fine. And I heard the cat that played Mr. Zaz on Gotham is playing Metamorpho.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm looking at our article here. We got Isabella Merced as Hawk Girl. I don't know if it's Eddie or Edie Gathegi is Mr. Terrific.
Yep.
And let's see. Yeah, so that's what I'm seeing in this article. But yeah, it's an interesting, is he going for like a JLI kind of deal? Like what's going on here?
I don't know. Gunn has he loves a natural love for comic books, and he loves the B and C listers, which I'm a huge mark for. So, they've said that heroes are already established in this world. Even though it's a younger Superman portrayal, I get the feeling that he's operating for a while. And who knows how it's going to be done. I would love at least one of these movies to kind of adopt like a James Bond type intro gimmick where when the movie starts, you see the end of one adventure before the start of another.
Mm-hmm.
And I think James Gunn didn't call me and he doesn't call me back, but I think that'd be great for Superman. Like have him be in space for a minute, maybe teaming up and Guy Gardner's there, and Guy Gardner's being a dick. And that's the scene. And then he goes back and the real plot happens. I don't know, but like It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So I don't want to bore
Yeah.
MZ, but interesting choices. I like the direction. We'll see what happens. The thing is, we don't need another fucking origin. Like,
Right.
literally every fucking person on the planet knows Superman's origin. We don't need to see it again. Like, even MZ knows his fucking origin.
Right.
I do.
And that's saying something. So, what else was I going to bring up? I should always write this shit down because I usually have thoughts beforehand, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'll remember that. And then I get on the show, and I forget everything because I have been dealing with technical issues for a fucking hour, and then forget. Let's see here. So I'll just bring this up now, but as I mentioned, we have the 11-year anniversary coming up. And it'll be on 2 weeks from now, so it'll be on Thursday, July 27th. Let me see what time. Actually, I want to see what day. I think we started the show. I want to say we released it on the 29th of July 29th, 2012. I think is when we officially had our first show. Let's see.
Oh, because it would have dropped on the Friday. We recorded on the Wednesday.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Is when it dropped. So let's see here. Oh, speaking of which, it was funny. Gene Siskel's balding head posted. He was asking Chat GPT about Trick or Treat Radio. For those who don't know, that is Chat GPT is probably the most widely used AI bot. So he asked the top 5 Trick or Treat Radio episodes according to Chat GPT. Number 1 was Trick or Treat Radio episode 165, The Burning Moon and Pisces. Not a thing. That wasn't an episode title. Episode number 383, The Poughkeepsie Tapes and the Perfect Host. Not a thing.
Okay.
Episode 510, which we're not even there yet. I'm sorry. I was thinking 610. We did pass 510. It says Slacks. We definitely didn't talk about Slacks. We almost did. This one here, Trick or Treat Radio episode 620. Saint Maud. We actually did review that, but maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. But this might be my favorite. Trick or Treat Radio episode 650. Get duked with an exclamation point.
Yeah, boy, we're getting duked tonight, son.
That should be someone's like catchphrase now. Get duked.
I think it is.
Wait a second. First of all, I thought we did do Slack.
No.
I thought we did do Slack.
Nope.
And Saint Maud was 2021.
No, it wasn't. That's what ChatGPT says. Oh wait, actually, I'm sorry. You might be right. Let me check Saint Maud.
No, I was right.
Yeah. It was early 2021. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it was like number 2 or number 3 on my top 13 of that year.
Yeah,
so.
it was pretty high on mine too as well. But this was my favorite thing about he's calling himself Nicotine Cage now, but we know Gene Siskel's balding head.
Yeah.
And he says, also from ChatGPT, Raven Shadow is known for his humorous contributions to the podcast. Because he asked about Raven Shadow. While I can't provide specific moments, here are a few general examples of his comedic moments on Trick or Treat Radio. Number 1, quick wit and banter. Raven Shadow often engages in lively banter with the other hosts, showcasing his quick wit and comedic timing. His humorous remarks and one-liners add an entertaining dynamic to the show's discussions. Is that true, MZ?
Well, that is true.
Okay, so
Yeah, but to the film's discussions, no. To
There's-
everything else surrounding it, yes.
so there's 3 points. That's point number 1. Let's continue on and see if it all kind of follows suit. Point number 2. Movie reviews. Raven Shadow's unique and often humorous take on movie reviews can provide comedic relief during discussions. His passionate and sometimes exaggerated reactions to certain films can create funny moments. I feel like this, if you were a written character, this would be like how someone should play the character. You know? But the thing that was left out,
Bible.
yeah, the thing that was left out here was that sometimes he watches the movies, sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite. Point number 3, character voices and impressions. Raven Shadow occasionally incorporates character voices and impressions into the podcast, adding humor and entertainment value. His playful use of different voices can bring comedic flair to the discussions. MZ, what's your favorite impression that Raven Shadow's done?
My favorite impression that Raven Shadow does is of a film reviewer.
That is a perfect
An
answer.
incredible impersonation. It's an incredible impersonation, one that nobody could even close to matching. Oh yeah.
So Raven Shadow, what do you think of those points? Is it
know,
what do you think? What do you think of AI? Is it on point? Is it off?
Yeah, brother, bring on Skynet, man. I'll take the blue pill, the one that tastes like steak. I'll take that one. Fuck it. So I'm not saying I disagree with everything the fake robot or the real robot wrote, but how does it do that? Like, how does it? Like, how? I don't understand.
So what it does,
It can, yeah.
it basically feeds on the internet. Like it feeds on knowledge. So what it will do is well, I'm not quite sure how it would come up with this. It probably looks at trickortreatradio.com. It just sort of indexes, like it knows what you feed it, you know? So if you feed it the internet, it's got to know what's on the internet. And so, for instance, there's actually a lawsuit that's going to be kind of interesting that Sarah Silverman is bringing up. There's other people. Actually, Christopher Golden was listed on the lawsuit as well, which I find kind of interesting.
Really?
Yeah. Sarah Silverman, Christopher Golden, and one other author I didn't recognize the name. But anyways, their case that they're bringing to court is that their books were obtained illegally through illegal sites that was then fed into the AI bot. So, for instance, they direct it to a site that has free books, like that people upload illegally, and so it's reading information illegally and obtaining this information illegally, and therefore, when you ask it something about the book or Sarah Silverman or like whatever, it's spouting out information that it got from that. So, but if it was obtained illegally and it's circumventing copyright, like what does that say about AI? You know, like it's a really interesting case. I'm against AI.
Yeah.
Well, to a degree, I'm against it in place of human emotion and experience. There are some ways that it can be beneficial, you know, but for the most part, I don't want to see it replace the human experience, because AI can spout out anything, but the thing is, it doesn't have the experience behind it. It's basically like there's a sort of like a, I heard like a I'm trying to think of I guess like a philosopher had once said, like His name's Shiheng Yi, who's fucking awesome, Shaolin monk. But I heard him speak once, and he said that you can think about climbing a mountain, and you can go to that mountain, and you can ask people's experience on their way down, like as they're coming down the mountain. What was that like? Tell me your experience, and they can convey the experience, which is great, and you might get an understanding of what it might be like. But without experiencing it yourself and doing it, you don't have the emotion behind it, right?
Right.
So
Right.
it's like if somebody did that, someone conveyed an experience, and then they're writing about it as if they know about it, and that's kind of what AI is doing. And AI it can't discern, it doesn't have feelings, so it's just spouting off information that it's gained from the internet, and it's going to get smarter over time. But the thing is, it's just relaying other people's experiences. And art is a different thing. Like that's a whole other can of worms that, we've already talked about a little bit, and I don't want to get into right now. But in terms of like, and this is something that's very much present right now, because the WAG, the Writers Guild, WGA, the Writers Guild of America, is on strike, and now SAG-AFTRA is on strike starting tomorrow. I think they're picketing tomorrow. So that's SAG is the Screen Actors Guild. So that's basically all of the actors. I don't think it's the Directors Guild is something else. So I think directors are still they still are working, but without writers and without actors, like what the fuck are you gonna do, right? Like,
Right.
It's gonna grind to a halt. And then, sure, these bigwig execs are probably okay with it for now, but once it starts, like affecting their dollars, at that point they're gonna do something, and whether that's make an agreement with SAG-AFTRA or WGA, or they're gonna like hire some people to really fucking ramp up AI. Let's start creating programming using AI. And that's a fucking thing that scares the fuck out of me if that happens.
And that could be a slippery slope. I mean, we've already gone through this a couple of years ago. It seems like a couple of years ago, maybe 10 years ago, when this happened. And it really impacted some shows. I know the show Heroes was definitely impacted by it wasn't the only thing that impacted the show. Maybe a little bigger ambitions by some creators, but still there's been impact, and it sucks because it's always going to fucking work out in the end, theoretically.
For the
it also impacts directors,
for
who
the
are
big
writers,
wigs.
right. But then could be pushback from the audience. I think if anything else, the pandemic, people want creative content, and when this model of firing creative teams because they can write a whole season of shows and not do it for a year. I'm not saying it correctly, but I'm saying that I think one issue was the way the streaming format is. They have all the shows at once, so they'll fire some of the creative team or bring in new ones months later, and it's not consistent. But we have a lot more unscripted shows,
and that led to the rise of like reality TV, right? Like if I'm not mistaken, we got like a big increase in reality TV last time there was a writer's strike, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it was an increase.
Yeah.
So
I don't know. It'd be interesting to see. I heard recently, I hope it's not true, but I heard that a lot of the execs are like, you know what? Like, let's drag the writers' strike on until they're about to get evicted from their apartments, and then we'll try to cut a deal with them. That's like, if there is even a shred of truth to that, it's fucked up. Like, let's bring it on like 5-6 months, and then at that point, people's savings is going to dry up, and they'll be willing to make a deal. That's fucked.
Right.
So I hope that's not true, but
and then that's a great way to produce quality work.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, they're going to be so excited to create for you after that. So yeah, it's just fucking, it's ridiculous. It's So I mean, we'll see what happens with it, but I'm hoping that it doesn't drag on for too long. Although I mean, you know,
Because there are already
this
some,
point,
weren't they saying some movies are already being impacted? Like even something like
oh yeah,
like Deadpool 3, they can't improvise. They couldn't improvise on set because some of the cast are in the Writers Guild as well.
right. Yeah, and if there needs to be rewrites on something, you can't do it. Like if you need to do any rewrites, if you need to do any re-record, like ADR or anything like that, anything that involves changing the writing whatsoever, you can't do it because it has to have WGA involved, which is good that they have to be involved, but like it's going to grind things to a halt, grind it to a halt. So, oh boy. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with it, but yeah, I have feelings about AI.
Yeah.
And you know what?
Although,
like it I think it's only a matter of time too before we start seeing podcasts produced with AI. You know?
Well, it's already producing music.
Well, I know.
So,
I know it's producing movies, music, it's art, whatever. It's producing everything. But the thing is, once it starts replacing people, that's when people are going to feel the difference.
well, I am confident that there's no robot that can replicate Monster Zero.
Well, apparently a robot can replicate you, since it just.
Well, I'll tell you right now, that fucking robot, that's the best fucking performance review I've had, and I've been at my job for 25 fucking years. So thank you, Skynet. I will be a human servant on the ground.
Oh man! All right. Well,
I will fetch your fucking ass mouse.
All right. I think we should start to wind up then. So we are getting wound up. So we should wind down, I guess.
Oh, let's get fucking duped, bro.
Oh, Denny, Denny says ravishing Raven Shadow.
Denny, you're drunk.
I'm surprised that's the first time we've ever heard that, actually.
Ooh, we gotta hear it again. Thank you, brother.
Ravishing Rick Raven Shadow. Oh shit!
It is so hot.
You're probably gonna have to take a break and go upstairs into the AC. It's
I know,
like,
it's
and stop
crazy.
smoking.
Oh man!
All right, so let's talk about the ways you can support us. So we have the big 11-year anniversary coming up. We as in me, MZ, and Raven Shadow have to do some. We have to do some prep and some brainstorming, because we probably should have had a list of things already, but we'll get it this week, and then next week, well, hopefully we can announce on social media, but at the very least we'll announce next week what we plan to do for the 11-year anniversary, how you can participate. At the very least, I mean, you could always just send something in for the 11-year. All that shit's on the table, like, Trick or Treat Radio memories, movies you found through the show that we did, things like that, if you want to do something like that. But we will likely have a specific question or a way for others to participate that we'll call out soon. So be patient. We'll figure it out. And so keep an eye on that stuff. And I think also to that end, I think we've done this in the past, but I think we might hold off on the July Patreon show till the end of the month, because we have a lot of, like anniversary festivities. So I think we'll hold off. There's some stuff in motion, some stuff being talked about. So let's hold off for a bit on that, and we'll have some more news about that. But I think you'll probably get 2 back-to-back episodes pretty close together in July and then August. So, so we have a plan. We just got to figure out the rest of the details. But if you do want to support us on Patreon, you can go to patreon.trickortreatradio.com, and there you can go ahead and join for as little as $2. That's it, $2. Look at that, Raven Shadow. You hold your fingers up, people can actually see it. $2. It's the cost of a pair of new tweezers. If Glenn,
No, it's cheaper actually.
if Glenn Danzig confiscates your tweezers, cheaper than cheaper than new tweezers. There you go. So give it a look. Patreon.trickortreatradio.com. We got lots of stuff coming up for Patreon supporters coming up at the end of the month with the 11-year anniversary. In the past, like last year, I think we did like a whole weekend.
Yeah.
So we may do the same thing again. We're gonna find out timing, all that shit. So, so keep an eye on that. And if you guys want to get in on that, if you want to sort of get ahead of the velvet rope before we announce things, you can go ahead and join if you're not already joined. So, like I said, as little as $2. There may be some things that are in a higher tier. Like I think in the past, I'm trying to remember. Did we do blackout tapes? I can't remember if it was just in the lowest tier or if we did the $5 tier. I don't remember. I'll look it up.
I think we opened it up
Yeah,
for the 10-year anniversary.
Yeah, I think it was only $5 tier if I'm not mistaken for a little bit, but then we opened it up. Yeah. So,
but that was for the 10 years.
It's always a blast. I mean, we always have fun doing the blackout tapes and the other stuff. So just join up. You know, you can get in the $2 tier, the $5 tier. If you guys want to have a Patreon takeover, you can get in that $10 tier, and you know, do your own Patreon takeover at some point. Yeah. So check it out, patreon.trickortreatradio.com. All right. Elsewhere, you can go to trickortreatradio.com. You can scroll down, look for the Amazon logo. You click on it. It's going to bring you to Amazon. Prime Day is over, I think. Was it yesterday or today? I forget. But you know what? There may be some sales still going on. You may want to buy some shit. You know what? You may just want to buy shit anyways because, you know, we're fucking lazy and we want to have shit delivered to our house.
Yeah.
So if that's the case, go ahead and use our link on trickortreatradio.com. You click it. It's going to input our affiliate link. It's going to bring in Amazon. It's not going to cost them any extra, Raven Shadow.
But it's another way to help protect you from AI.
There you go. I don't know if that's actually true, but it sounds good. All right. And finally, you can go to trickortreatradio.com and you can go ahead and click on Greatest Hits in the digital store. You can go ahead and check out volumes 1 through 3. It's got a sampling of highlights, lowlights, midlights, everything in between. It's got the songs, the arguments, the interviews. It's a little bit of everything. So if you want to check out the first 6 or 7 years of Trick or Treat Radio, go ahead and give that a listen. Give it a buy. They're $3 a pop, and you got them forever. So, all right. Well, that is going to wrap up this little bit here. Let me check real quick. Let me check the chat. Let's see. Evil Corny says they need to cast Idris Elba as Jon Stewart. All right. I feel like he's like maybe a bigger tier. Like he's like Superman tier. You know, like if he was like he's like leading man. Even though I know in Suicide Squad, you know, he was not necessarily the lead. I guess maybe he was, but
I think he was.
Yeah.
Him and Margot Robbie.
Yeah, true. Angry Townsman says he'd do an interesting job as John. I assume John. I don't know if he means Jon Stewart or John Johns.
Wow.
I don't know. He spelled it John like Jon Stewart, but either way.
Yeah.
Let's see. Corny posted something that says James Bond actor offered. So I guess Daniel Craig has been offered the role of Lex Luthor.
Interesting.
Offered. It's not. Doesn't say it's accepted. It just says he's been offered.
Because I heard there was talks of some of the Skarsgårds.
They're fucking everywhere.
Yeah, the first pretty one that was in the True Blood.
Oh, is it Alexander?
Yeah.
Wait, is it I forget. I don't know. That's interesting.
Because there's the old one, there's the True Blood one, and then there's the It one.
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Oh, and there's the other one who was like the Brad Dourif of the Skarsgårds. That one,
The Brad Dourif.
right? He's like Brad Skarsgård. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I think if it's who I'm thinking of, I actually just started watching the show Vikings with Tanya, and if it's the one I'm thinking of, he is in that. Let me just look it up. His name. He plays a character.
Because I think he was in that
Floki. Gustav Skarsgård.
Floki.
Floki. Yeah. He plays a character named Floki. Gustav Skarsgård.
I think he played Hector Hammond in
Yes.
in Green Lantern, right? He played he was in High Fidelity and that the kid who was in Scrubs picture he made where he rode the scooter.
Wait, when did Green Lantern come out? What year was that?
2007 maybe?
Because I don't see his name listed unless I'm just missing it.
2008.
So I don't think it was this. Yeah, I don't think it was him.
Maybe it wasn't.
But this guy is kind of like the Brad Dourif. He always plays kind of interesting roles. That's why I thought that's who you're talking about.
Gotcha. I think we're thinking about the same guy, but
yeah, probably. He doesn't look like the others. Well, I guess he kind of does. Yeah, so maybe I'm wrong. Gustav.
Corny.
He's the Billy Baldwin of the group.
The Billy Baldwin. I gotta check let me check Green Lantern movie. 2011 was the Green Lantern movie, and who played Hector Hammond? It was Peter Skarsgård. Oh, Peter Sarsgaard. He's not a Skarsgård. He's a Sarsgaard.
Well, that burns my fucking ass. Really? That's stupid.
He kind of looks a little bit like the Skarsgårds, though. That's weird.
Yeah. They should fucking adopt him.
They should adopt him.
They're almost there, bro. That pisses me off.
Peter Sarsgaard.
Maybe he just changed his name, took out the K just to separate himself from the rest, but yet just, just took the K out just enough to still be attached to the Skarsgårds.
Right. He didn't go full like Charlie Sheen.
He didn't go full Skarsgård. You never go full Skarsgård.
Yeah. What, Scotchgard?
Yeah. Yeah, Peter Skarsgård. That boy was good.
Oh,
yeah, that boy good.
Oh, he married. Peter Sarsgaard is married to Maggie Gyllenhaal.
Good for him.
Jesus.
All right.
So there you go.
That's stupid.
Sarsgaard Jones. That's a.
Okay. So, all right. We were just about to head to the part where Raven Shadow does his little bit. So, Raven Shadow, you sit down to watch The Blackening. What do you do to prepare for this movie this week?
Well, beforehand, I had gone to a convention a couple weeks ago, Johnny.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah. It was the Connecticut, Boxborough Comic-Con.
Oh, you went to that?
Yeah. You liked my photo on the Facebook. But I went with my childhood best friend. I've known him since I was 6 years old. My buddy Mike and a friend of his too. I know him too from high school. And the big draw. I mean, it was a small convention. It was smaller than Rock and Shock. It was almost on like Scaricon. Not even Scaricon. Yeah, Scaricon scale. But it was in a hotel with free parking, so that's cool. They had a cool steakhouse. But we get to meet Keone Young, who was the voice of Storm Shadow in the G.I. Joe cartoon. And also in a bunch of movies and shows. He did voices for, I think, some Star Wars shit. He was in Sons of Anarchy. And we even talked to him. And he was telling a story. He's like, because I asked him, like, what was it like working on Sons? And he's like, it was a little rough because a lot of the actors thought that, they were really in a motorcycle club. And granted, some were, and there were some that were affiliated, but they were all. He was saying they were giving him kind of the stink eye until Charlie Hunnam got on set, and then Charlie Hunnam went up to him and started like hugging him, wanting to take a selfie with him, and he's like, "Yeah." Everyone in the cast was like, "What's up with this? Why is he looking at this guy?" And he used a word that I'm not going to repeat because they get canceled, but he used a word that he felt they were thinking about. But Charlie Hunnam revealed, like, "Hey, this is Mr. Wu from Deadwood, the Great Deadwood program," and that's when everyone really, realized who he was. So, and they were saying that every guest star always wants a selfie with Charlie Hunnam, but it was the first time that a guest star that Charlie wanted to take a picture with. So he totally got over. And another fun fact was he was told that he was too old to voice Storm Shadow in the G.I. Joe Renegades cartoon. And I'm like, yeah, but it's just a fucking voice, dude. You're not on camera.
Right.
So he ended up playing the I forget if either the hard master or the soft master. But super cool guy. My buddy Mike got a whole bunch of, pictures, but it was just great to fucking talk to the dude. You know what I mean? It was a great moment.
He's no Chuck Zito or anything, but it's cool.
He's no Chuck Zito. Chuck Zito did knock out Danzig with one punch,
True.
much like Guy Gardner in Batman callback. So you better believe, Johnny, get it cued. I strapped on.
The following message is a paid advertisement for the Cult of Muscle podcast. The Cult of Muscle. You're either in it or you're dead.
It's the dawning of a new age. The halls of Valhalla have been shuttered. The heroes of yore have either retreated to the shadows or taken to capering for the amusement of the small folk, their past glories a distant memory. The barbells have been torn from their once puma-strong grips, the beards shorn from their square jaws, only to be transplanted onto flannel-clad, puny weaklings with fingers barely powerful enough to strum a ukulele. The time has come, my brothers, to restore order from the chaos. No longer will our heroes be forgotten. No longer will their great deeds be viewed through a foggy lens of irony. Hear now our rallying cry as we scream it from the mountaintops, as we bellow it from iTunes and Libsyn and Facebook. It's time to join the cult, my brothers. So don your cloaks and enter the Cult of Muscle.
This is Matt Kennedy of Astron 6. You might know me as Manborg. You might know me as Father John Sullivan in Father's Day. But what's important right now is that you're listening to Trick or Treat Radio.
You go through your week with the same old routine.
What you really want is some blood and thunder in your life.
Well, friend, you found it.
The Cromcast is an adventurous journey through the history of two-fisted pulp stories.
With your hosts, John,
Josh,
and Luke.
We have action,
horror,
and adventure, all through the lens of pulp luminary Robert E. Howard.
Don't just stay in your ordinary life.
Find your pulp life at thecromcast.blogspot.com.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
The Cromcast.
A podcast for the barbarian at heart.
I can tell you I'm never coming back on this show. Especially now that I did that thing that you just didn't do. Which I will be sending you an invoice for.
back on Trick or Treat Radio. And apparently my stream deck isn't working, so I got to do this by fucking hand. Great. Let's get the video. All right, there we go. All right. Where'd MZ go?
He's late.
No, he's there. His camera's just frozen, and it didn't pick up on the feed. He's been having some internet issues, I think. You there, MZ? Yep, I think he's frozen. Well, let me see if I can get the... I thought I had the... I don't have the GIF. I don't have the GIF on this one. All right. What are you doing? You playing with some toys?
Yeah, I'm sure. I got my action figures.
You dolls? Playing with your dolls?
The action figures will be. This one's cool. This is the my favorite Wonder Man figure in his classic red little safari jacket and jet belt. Because jet belt is what it is. Sunglasses.
Jet belt?
Jet belt.
I want one of those.
Pretty cool.
I'm gonna open up a Drink Here Raven channel. I'm gonna do ASMR style. Okay.
Ooh.
There you go. How was that? Make you thirsty?
That's fucking refreshing. Is that Fresca?
Mm-mm. Waterloo.
Waterloo.
Waterloo. Like I got to go to the loo.
Oh.
It's grape sparkling water.
San Dimas's most bodacious water slide.
Yeah, boy.
That's a great time to come back.
Ziggy Piggy.
Ziggy Piggy. Oh shit. You know what? This weekend, Tanya and I are gonna do we're gonna do like an 80s day on Saturday. And we're just gonna we're not probably not all day. We'll probably break it up with doing some stuff, but we're gonna watch like some 80s TV shows, movies, and we're gonna try and find some veganized versions of snacks we used to eat when we were in the 80s. So maybe some kind of sugary cereal in the morning.
Oh, nice.
They do have.
Are you gonna wear outfits or costumes?
Oh, I hadn't thought about that. I don't know. Maybe. Would that
Do
make?
You still have your Lex Luger T-shirt?
Oh no, I gave it to Coop.
Ah.
I had that for a long time, but I can't remember why. There was a reason we were trading it off or something like that, and he currently has it. So.
Well, it's funny. I'm going to see Steel Panther on Sunday.
Oh, nice. Should be fun.
Boy.
You gonna dress the part?
No, I'm gonna wear my teal T-shirt though.
All right, well, that works. All right, let's jump into this movie. How about that?
Yeah.
All right, so I was looking at other stuff on IMDb. Let me get back to. All right.
How can we talk about this movie?
Oh, well, I mean, I think there's plenty to talk about. So, yeah. But you're right. I mean, there is some stuff that is important that we will need to tiptoe around some of it. But all right, let me go over the details here. The Blackening is rated R. It is 97 minutes. It is a comedy horror thriller from director Tim Story. And it is written, let's see. I saw Tim Story's, okay, yeah, so writing credits, Tracy Oliver and Dwayne Perkins wrote the screenplay, and Tracy Oliver and Dwayne Perkins created the story as well. I thought I saw Tim Story's name as a writer as well, but at least IMDb isn't showing it that way. And the film stars Grace Byers, Jermaine Fowler, Melvin Gregg, Mayo, Dwayne Perkins, Antoinette Robertson, Cinqua Walls, Jay Farrow, Yvonne Orji, I'm not sure.
Yeah, boy.
ORJI, and Diedrich Bader.
Yeah.
The great Diedrich Bader.
Yes, he is a master.
That's funny.
Like, what if he was like, the Bruce Wayne, and he had a ward? Would he have people call him Masturbator?
He would have to. And to be fair, he did play Batman on
That is
Brave and the
true.
Bold.
Holy shit, you're right.
Yeah, he was, and he on what did you say? He played Batman in what?
The Brave and the Bold cartoon.
Well, he was also dressed up in. There was an episode of the Drew Carey show. He was he was one of the stars on there, and he was dressed. I believe he was dressed up as Robin on there, while Ryan Stiles was dressed up as Batman.
Oh, I think you're right.
Holy shit! Like
there was an episode with Drew Carey. There was an episode where Drew he either won either $1 million or he won the Batmobile, and he took the Batmobile.
That's what it was.
Oh,
yeah.
He won the Batmobile, I think, because that was a great show too.
I love Drew Carey show.
That's so funny. I forgot that he was on that. I never really watched it that much, but yeah, I'd forgotten that he was on it. But he's been in so many things. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't realize he's basically 10 years older than us, Raven Shadow. Like, dude still looks good for fucking 56, 57.
That's fair. I mean, he was in Drew Carey. I mean, then he blew up. He was in the great character, small role in Office Space. He played a similar character in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Yep.
Batman the Brave and the Bold as a more, Batman Adam West style take on the Cape Crusader. And then a bunch of shit I'm probably forgetting about too.
Yeah. So let's jump into Tim's story. I know we talked about him recently. I'm actually not super familiar with his work, but I know that he is I would say a pretty acclaimed film director. He's done he did Tom and Jerry from 2021, which apparently has gotten decent reviews.
Right.
I'm trying to think who is in that. That's right. Colin Jost did the voice of he did the voice of Ben. I thought it was Tom and Jerry, but I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm misremembering. But he did that. So this is follow up to Tom and Jerry. He did Shaft from 2019 with Sam Jacks.
Wait, the reboot of the remake or the
2019 Sam Jacks Shaft.
That was with his son, right?
I didn't see that one, but yeah, it says JJ Shaft played by Jesse T. Usher. So yeah, I guess there's two Shafts. Oh, Richard Roundtree's in it too. So there's three. There's John Shaft Sr., John Shaft, and JJ Shaft. So I guess there's three generations of Shafts in that movie.
And 4 if you count Django by Quentin Tarantino.
What about it? What?
According to kind of nerd or core
I was just talking about this movie though.
No, but the character that
Sam Jacks?
I forget what it was, but the character that Django's girl ended up being Shaft's supposed to be a descendant of QT's Django.
Oh, okay.
Look it up.
Sure,
But
sure.
All right, there was the Shaft remake with Sam Jacks that had Christian Bale in it as the racist prick.
Yeah, I didn't see any of the remakes, but anyways, Tim Story directed that, and he did the Ride Along films, Ride Along 1 and 2. It looks like he directed some of Kevin Hart's comedy specials, And he also did Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer, the original Fantastic Four, from the original meaning like the first from 2005. That was the one with Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, Michael Chiklis.
Yep.
All them folks.
The dude from Nip Tuck in the Barbershop movies. Barbershop 1 and 2.
Yep. I'm just gonna. That was the last one I was gonna get to is the Barbershop films. Yep.
I saw Barbershop 1, 2, and both FF films in theaters. Barbershop with Double D.
Nice.
Hey! Oh!
Oh my God.
Oh!
That's not funny at all. But there was some sort of animal fight at Raven Shadow's place.
Sorry.
It's all right, man. Take care of your. Take care of yourself. What else could go wrong? What else could go wrong here?
Let's get the movie review stat before anything else happens.
Oh my God.
Sorry, folks.
It's all right. Is everything okay over there?
Yeah, no. I think
like
I was kind of being a dick to Chloe.
Oh man. All right. Well, let's get into
Sorry.
this fucking. No, it's cool. I was concerned about the animals for a second.
Yeah, you guys all right?
All right.
Come here.
The dangers of podcasting from another room.
Oh, is this what happens? What's going on? Come here.
Ollie doesn't like sharing the spotlight, apparently.
Ow.
Ollie doesn't like sharing the spotlight, right, Raven Shadow?
I don't think so. Yeah, no. I think he's kind of settle down, bro.
All right. So let's get into it. So this film, as I mentioned earlier, was came recommended from a couple listeners. Evil Corny and the Angry Townsman were both repping it and said we should do it. And since it was a theatrical release first, we typically, we sometimes will do theatrical releases, but for the most part, we stick to kind of straight to VOD. But this one, since it was requested, and it was potential as one of the films we were going to do anyways, I figured, you know what, let's just move it ahead on the top of the list here. So we're going to talk about this film, and I think it's an interesting one because of obviously the subject matter. And, as we stated last week, this film is coming, our discussion is coming from a very kind of one-dimensional sort of outlook, right? Or at least it's three straight white dudes. That's the perspective. Now, obviously we're trying to kind of challenge ourselves and to be open and to listen to other people's experiences about, how people live their lives and how the experiences that they have. And, we've come across some movies that have been challenging in terms of challenging the ways that we think, the ways that we perceive things, the way that we have known things to be or thought things to be. So I think it's always interesting to get a perspective that, from this film, it's a very black perspective of how, of like stereotypes of how the world perceives the black experience, and especially as it relates to horror. Like on the poster in big letters, it says, "We can't all die first." So, and that's something that, MZ, you can speak to this. You've seen a lot of slasher films in the 80s, probably more than both of us combined. It's not always the trope, but that's kind of the trope, is that typically there's a in the 80s, it was a token black person, and they would get put in the movie, get cast, and typically would be the first to die, right?
Exactly. And I love just that tag. I'm very aware of the situation of black actors and actresses. they're all dispatched. And very, very, very rarely do any black people actually survive a horror film. There's only two that come to mind, and I haven't thought. I'm sure there are, and I didn't Google or anything, but there are two that come to mind. Night of the
Living
and
Night of the Living
Friday the 13th, Part 5.
Oh, you said live, right?
What? Yeah, that they live.
Yeah, you're cutting out again a little bit, so I only caught some of it. But I said Night of the Living Dead, but I think you were talking about not starring, but that survived the film, right?
Yeah, but is that true though? I mean, he survived the attack, but didn't survive.
Well, he didn't survive the movie.
The morning.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert! It came out in the 60s.
Spoiler alert.
Like what came to mind to me was like LL Cool J in Deep Blue Sea.
Yeah. So this is a really interesting film in the fact that it
coming through. Am I coming through at all?
You are now, but I didn't hear anything for like a minute.
I'm trying to say something and
yeah,
and
we're here. We're unfortunately hearing every other word, MZ. We can't make it out right now.
All right. I'm like,
I think you're just having another hiccup on your internet.
Just
all right. Well, MZ's. I don't know if he's going to reconnect or something, but
yeah, restart MZ.
Well, I think his internet, like it was doing that when we first connected up when we were trying to troubleshoot your issues. So I don't know if he's what's going on. Just another brick in the wall of technical issues tonight. But I think what he's saying is there's only a couple of films that come to mind where a black lead makes it through the entire horror film. Pretty few and far between, like, to try to think about. Now, obviously, that's changed a little bit in recent history, especially as we're seeing more black directors directing films. Like, for instance, Jordan Peele, comes to mind immediately, and he has basically said that when he was a kid, he didn't see himself represented on screen very often in horror films, and he says if he's casting a film, unless it's for a specific role, why wouldn't he cast a black actor or actress? And I totally understand that, and I agree that black actors are very underrepresented in film, period, but especially in horror. And so I have zero problem with that, and I actually like that he's doing that. And so, but it's something that in the last few years has gotten a little bit more attention. Obviously with Get Out, and it's interesting. Speaking of Get Out, we get a reference to Get Out in this when they mention the sunken place, and it's kind of interesting that that's now a cultural touchstone of like when someone is in a situation where they're sort of being like I don't want to like say something that's too extreme, but being sort of like taken over by like white folk, or something, like married to a white person with like a white family, and right. So he's like, bro, you're in the sunken place or something, so it's kind of interesting to use that as like a sort of reference now that that's been established. Let's see. Creepy Girl just popped in. She said, "Oh my God, I've been listening, but I just now looked at my screen and I'm so happy. Raven Shadow's closer." Yeah. Well, it's sort of by accident because we had issues with his studio computer, so we kind of had to. But who knows? Maybe Raven Shadow, if you like this, maybe it'll be easier in the future. You're not sweating as much now.
Thank you. Yeah, I was fucking hot, bro.
So this film, it's a really interesting film. It's not really what I expected.
No.
I don't know what because I didn't even see any trailers for this,
No.
so I don't really know what I was expecting. But for some reason, I was the way it was presented to me at least one time was that it was going to. I thought it was going to be like a scary movie kind of thing, like a complete spoof of the genre. You know, that's sort of I don't know why like it was sort of presented to me in that way initially. So I was like, oh, okay, well, you know, that sounds interesting, but I didn't know that it'd be a film that have a lot more to say than what I originally thought. You know. And welcome back, MZ. You look a little clearer. I don't know if you can hear us. All right, maybe not. All right, we'll just go fuck ourselves then, I guess.
Keep it going. Get the lube. Get the water lube. Call back.
The water lube.
Hear me.
I heard the end. Hear me.
You would know. But
oh my fuck. I'm literally going to stab my eye out tonight.
Just come over, bro.
Oh, I'd be there in 8 hours. Jesus Christ. Let's try to get this fucking on the rails. Oh, and one other thing I wanted to mention, I actually saved a photo. Looking at, there's a bunch of different character posters that were released for this movie, which I thought were kind of interesting. So I'm going to just read some of the posters, and like some of it, these are like completely like tropes or stereotypes on the posters. So I'm not going to I'm not going to describe each poster, like who's on it or whatever, but the questions are, because asking questions about someone's blackness is a very sort of integral part of the movie. So these character posters, the questions they ask: is mac and cheese a side dish or a main?
Both.
Name one. I'm not asking you to answer that.
Oh, sorry.
Name one black character who survived a horror movie. I guess MZ did. So, how many kids does Nick Cannon have? Jesus Christ. Name 2 white cast members from In Living Color.
Oh, Jim
Carrey's one. Yeah.
Yeah.
We know that one. Yeah, it's like, oh yeah, who's the other one, right? What group was Cisco in?
Oh shit.
Was Cisco in a group? He must have been, right?
He was fucking Thong Song, wasn't he?
Yeah. I'm looking
Not
it up because
successful.
I'm curious.
Yeah.
Drew Hill was the name of the band he was in.
Drew Hill?
Yeah. All right. In Lloyd's song "You," does Lloyd sing "She's Fine Too" or "5'2"? That's a good question. Name 8 Tyler Perry Medea movies. Or Medea. I'm not sure. Is it Medea or Medea? Do you know? I think it's Medea.
It's Medea. Wow. We are showing our whiteness.
Yeah, we are. We very much are. Name 15 black inventions.
Oh, it's a fucking lot.
I don't think you can name 15. And the other one, the final one of these character posters is name 2 of BB's kids.
Bebe's kids.
Bebe. See, I don't even know.
It's Robin Harris. Oh, yeah. Fucking Jazz and the Blues.
Jazz and the Blues?
Yeah.
What the fuck? All right. So, anyways, Bebe's kids. Okay, there we go.
Bebe's kids, Robin Harris.
All right. So I just thought that was interesting, is that they're really leaning into a lot of the stereotypes and what defines someone's blackness, you know, like, and that's sort of a theme of this movie that is interesting. So if you've seen it, you've seen it. You know what? Like, I don't like doing the plot breakdowns. I usually just sort of get into it, but let's do, I like first impressions. I like doing that a little bit better just to kind of get some conversation rolling. But, so Raven Shadow, since I don't know if MZ's even with us right now. first impression of the movie. You don't have to like give it away, give it away, give it away, give it away now, speaking of being white.
Yeah.
You don't have to, give your whole verdict, just kind of first impression versus what you thought going in,
Truly. So I didn't know. I was much like you, Wolfie. I didn't know anything about the plot about it. I just know. I know Corny. I talked to Corny a little bit about it. Saw the poster. That was it. And I got to say, I loved the fucking title card. I thought the title card was super fucking metal, the way it opened up. And I forget.
Yeah, it just said black, right? And then it kind of zoomed out. Yeah.
Was that after the first scene of the first two characters,
Yeah.
if memory serves?
Yeah.
But the music was it was very rock and roll and just like jigga, 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 black, it was there in big fucking letters, and then it scrolls back into blackness. I'm like, that's fucking cool, man. Like, I was with that, and I liked meeting the characters. I like how they were older. I mean, they were probably in their late 20s, early 30s, if that.
Yeah,
because they were.
Well, they said
it was the 10th year anniversary
they were 30
of their graduation, so they're in their late 20s.
Well, I would say,
okay.
Was it? I thought it was college graduation though.
College graduation.
Yeah, so they would have been about 30.
Oh, maybe it was college graduation.
32-ish, somewhere around there. That's the vibe I got. Anyways, like even if they hadn't did the 10-year thing, I got that vibe that it was like, early 30s.
Yeah, because Lisa was a lawyer. Couple of years of school for that, I would think. My lawyer went to a lot of years of school, I'll tell you that much. She was killer. But so I was really into it, and I had no idea once they, and I think similar, it was okay, get a bunch of youngish people into a cabin in the woods to have a party.
Yep.
Bad things are going to happen. And then we see the first two characters who arrive on the scene, and they come across a game which, not part of the Parker Brothers line. I'll tell you that much.
No. Maybe the fucking Jim Crow line. Jesus Christ.
Jiminy wowzers.
Maybe the early Parker Brothers line, actually.
Oh well, yeah. He's not wrong.
let's be fair here.
Hey, come here. Hey. Excuse me.
Podcast problems. Hashtag podcasting problems in the Raven Channel.
This whole thing has been a nightmare.
Well, you're back now, MZ. You can hear you pretty good right now.
Thank fucking God.
Well, while you're actually good.
So what are we talking about here? I'm still trying to get over what I've been trying to say all along for the past 10 minutes.
I know. Let's move past it. We're doing first impression. What was your first impression? Because Raven Channel and I had we had thought, we weren't sure what this is going to be. We thought it was going to be like a spoof, like, scary movie kind of deal or something like that. But, so what was your first impression upon seeing it? Not give away the verdict, but, kind of first impression kind of deal.
Well, I saw the trailer before this. And
you did. Okay.
Was when I saw the trailer for this months ago, and I recommended it. And just going from what I saw in the trailer, I knew this was going to be a film. Just judging from the trailer, I knew this was going to be a film that was going to be a lot of fun characters, some witty dialogue, and the material was going to be treated tongue in cheek, but with serious tones involved as well, as far as black culture versus the American society that we had dealt with over the past several years. Mm-hmm. Because there is a certain line there that is absolutely hysterical, and the reaction to it is even funnier than that. And the line is actually said in the trailer, and I was rolling in laughter because of the sheer irony of it all. But I had a feeling that this was going to be just a good, fun movie, just from the trailer. Now, whether that's what we got or not, I don't know. We'll find out. We'll talk about it as we go along.
So, my impression right off the bat, like this is going into uncomfortable territory because when they go to the game room and they find the game in there, yeah, it's like, oh fuck, like we know that is wrong, like the Jim Crow sort of
the Sambo character.
Sambo, yeah, that depiction is all sorts of wrong, right?
Yeah,
And,
you're talking 1920s, you're talking mostly 30s, 1930s. Sambo was basically an advertising character for a whole bunch of things back in the day. From and it's going to get a little touchy here, but they from like cream of wheat to watermelon, it was just all over the place. And I mean, it's a cultural figure as it is a cultural figure, and from my understanding, figures of this character go for quite a steep price. But yeah, to have it integrated into a game where it's basically the centerpiece, like the pop-up bubble in Trouble.
Yeah,
it was. And I mean, it's right there in your face, and it's unapologetic.
Yeah,
but the curiosity gets the better of them.
So one thing, and this is me just learning this. Apparently, Sambo is a derogatory label for a person of African descent in the English language. So my apologies if I wasn't aware of that ahead of time. But it says historically it is a name in American English derived from a Spanish term for a person of African and Native American ancestry. After the Civil War, during and after the Jim Crow era, the term was used in conversation, print advertisement, and household items as a pejorative descriptor for black people.
Yeah.
So it is now considered offensive in American and British English. So that's hence the apology of not realizing I actually was not familiar with that term. So so for me, as far as impression goes, right off the bat, I knew that this film wasn't shy in tackling some tough area and tackling some things that are going to be a little bit uncomfortable. But I think the thing, and we've talked about this before, the thing about that is I feel like in order to make an impression or to make a conversation piece, art sometimes has to be uncomfortable. You have to, because then you're challenged with how you feel about something. So if you're made uncomfortable, you have to figure out why am I uncomfortable? And then kind of go into that whole process of why. So I think it's really interesting. And I don't know if you heard this, Raven Chat, I was saying that, like, I think art, in order to be challenging, has to be uncomfortable, because then it makes it's almost holding a mirror up to say, hey, this is what has happened, or not necessarily a mirror, but it why does it make you uncomfortable? It's because, well, this is something that has been perpetrated throughout the years. We've wrongfully treated people a certain way for no apparent fucking reason, for no real, like, legitimate reason. It's just that somebody or some bodies thought that black people, Native people were less than because they were had a different color. Like, it is just, it's insane. It's absolutely insane. And the thing that was really interesting to me is, like, I saw something, I think it was on the 4th of July, and we celebrate independence. And so we came to this country, we, as in white people, came to this country to get away from the rule of the king, right? Wanted to get out from underneath the king. We wanted to be free. Yet one of the first things they fucking do when they come here is to fucking enslave people.
The same exact bullshit, even down to no taxation without representation. Okay, well now we want motherfuckers. Here's some taxes, cocksucker. Fucking, we're still paying taxes, dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's absolutely baffling, and this isn't the kind of thing that they talk about in history, right? And fucking when we were younger, and now they're definitely not teaching it because books are getting fucking banned, and you can't talk about fucking like racial issues in a lot of schools now. It is so fucked up. We're just trying to completely whitewash history and to just like if we get rid of this stuff, then we can't be blamed for systemic racism, right? Like I feel like sweeping it under the rug means we can't shoulder any of the blame for things that have happened in the past because, if they don't talk about it in school and kids aren't taught it, then it didn't happen, And that's kind of where I feel like they're going with. I got a little bit off where I was going with this, but I think it's important to say. So yeah, as we celebrate the fucking 4th of July, Independence Day, like recently, it occurred to me, and this is even before I watched the movie, it occurred to me that it's so hypocritical for us to want to be free, yet we enslave others. It just is entirely baffling. Manifest destiny and all that shit, motherfucker, right?
Well, this is the class structure, and I mean, once again, we are, straight white guys from New England, but I think we have a fucking brain and a conscience, and I think we were raised right for the most part. You know what I mean? But I think there'll always be, the haves and the have-nots, and there'll always be a tiered structure. Someone's always the fucking enemy, whether it's their religion or the color of their skin. And rich white people will always be scared of a black person's dick and about women. That's what they're afraid of. It comes down to it.
And now that like there has been so like right now I feel like in the world today, like there is like race stuff it's like a powder keg. It is like ready to explode if it hasn't already, which it rightfully should. But I feel like there's a pivot now. Now the enemy and don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying that like the white elite isn't viewing minorities and black people and native people and whatever as less than still, but now they've also moved on to trans people. Now trans people, they're the fucking enemy. They're trying to groom and fucking influence our children. Like they're gonna make them gay. They're gonna turn them like our boy into a girl and our girl into a boy. It's unfucking believable, and the lengths to which these fucking villains, because that's what they are, the lengths to which they'll go is just like it's just ridiculous. It just doesn't end. So I feel like they always need a villain. They always need to paint someone as a villain because that is going to rile up their base, number one. And number two, it's going to get them funds, like money. Because if they talk about something that a certain population of people feel strongly about, they're going to donate enough money to help their campaign to line the pockets of these fucking sons of bitches. So it's just this vicious cycle.
It's the same shit that our parents grew up with segregation and shit. Like fucking segregation was a thing in the 60s. What the fuck?
I know, right?
But the slaves were freed, but not really. And there was no internet. And sometimes slave owners didn't tell them they were free. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't like killing the emperor and everyone's fucking partying on Coruscant. You know what I mean? Like
right.
Hence the whole Juneteenth thing. Fucking just cut the shit, fucking assholes. But I think to get back to your point, because going off on a rant, because once again, more intelligent people than I can speak about this. But I think part of horror in particular, you got to be shocking, right? And obviously, the movie is leaning into it. It's called The Blackening, and we can't all die first. Okay, they're going into it. So when we first see the character in the game, before the title card, okay, that's some fucked up shit.
Yeah.
Human centipede. Someone's going to eat some ass, but this is a different, not an apples to ass comparison, but
apples to ass. That says so much about our show.
Yeah. Where's Rachel? Can we call her? Is Corny? Can you call in, please?
He did call in. We got a corny voice message coming up.
Nice. But it definitely and comedy and horror can be a difficult thing, balance wise. But I think with the intro, you're like, okay, what the fuck? Like, I don't know. Would I want to play a game called? I can say this, like, I don't want to say it, but like, it was shocking, and they were kind of like, well, fuck this game, and it was an interesting turn. I even texted Mary. I'm like, this movie took a twist, and it was less than 10 minutes in.
Yeah. So you see the board game in the game room. So we have the opening where the initial couple is at the Airbnb. I think it was in Vermont. Was that what? Yeah, I think it was in Vermont.
Well, one character was, yes.
Or at least they went to school in Vermont. I don't know. Vermont was mentioned at some point. I forget like the exact location or if they even said the location. But
there was a character was from Vermont.
Yeah. Okay. So they get to the town and there is like this sort of like even one of them mentioned it like like getting a Texas Chainsaw Massacre vibe here,
right,
where the people in the town were a little weird, and then we have the character of holy shit, Clifton.
Yep.
Where he meets I think it was Shanika. I think that was the one that was in the convenience store. But we meet Clifton, and so Clifton has an interesting arc. Obviously, we're not going to go into the complete arc, but he and let me just say, every character in this is a stereotype, like a different black stereotype
or archetype.
Archetype. Sure, yeah. So we have I don't know if I'll remember all their names, but Allison was the one that had the white mother, so she was black father, white mother. Yep. Then we had Clifton, who was at first he was actually a lot of the comedy relief, and I thought a lot of the things he said were fucking hilarious at the beginning. Just how out of his element he was,
He was very much like the Carlton of the team.
Well, I was gonna say I got a
Urkel
vibe. Yeah, Urkel.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Yeah. In aging Urkel.
Oh, and it's not just an intelligent black person with giant glasses on and things like that, but it was also his mannerisms. If when you saw him talk, he had his mouth kind of drooped a little bit, somewhat in the same way that Steve Urkel did on Family Matters. He had a whole thing with his mouth when he spoke that it was kind of like a twisted thing. So I mean, yeah, you can immediately point to just an intelligent, geeky dude with glasses and think Urkel, but there's a few things more to it than just that.
Yeah.
And there was King, who had he had a white wife, with maybe a backstory of, maybe being in an urban fraternal organization. He had a little bit of a gang past, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you had I forget his name. I'm going to say it wrong, but
Dwayne.
It came out his parents were from Africa.
Oh, Namdi.
Who that dude should play Jon Stewart, by the way. But
Cinqua Walls, yeah. He's actually he looks super familiar, and so I looked him up, and he's actually in the remake of White Man Can't Jump that's coming up. He's the Wesley Snipes character.
Oh, okay.
He was also in that movie Nanny that we did. You guys remember Nanny? He was like, it was he was actually the really like she meets somebody. She was the obviously the nanny for a white couple, and she meets has a really healthy awesome relationship with a guy, and you think that he's gonna be kind of a scumbag, but he turns out to be super sweet, and he brings her to his grandmother, I think it was, or something like that. And she she really liked Aisha, the character, the main character there. So yeah, I remember him from that. Looked him up. He was really awesome in that. And yeah, so he looks like he's on the rise, getting that that role, I'm sure, is a big one in White Man Can't Jump. So yeah, he was awesome as Namdi. I recognize Jay Farrow. I'm trying to remember where I've seen Jay Farrow. Oh, he used to be on Saturday Night Live. That's right. He was yeah.
Oh, okay.
But he did his best Eddie Murphy impersonation. I feel like I got a very kind of just the way that he was talking to in that opening segment. He was the one, in the opening segment with
okay,
that played the game first. So yeah, it's we're talking about sort of the archetypes, so they have all the different kind of archetypes.
Yeah, the kind of bigger sassy girl,
Yeah, there's the Dwayne was the gay one,
right.
And then let's see, I think Lisa was I think she was the main one, right? That was seeing Namdi again.
Yeah. She was the best friends with Dwayne.
Yeah.
And Nambi was the one that kind of broke her heart in college.
Yeah.
But maybe they're rekindling the flame. But the best line is, "You smell like dick."
Yeah. I think what Clifton said something is I feel overwhelmed by the smell of dick or something like that too. I can't remember what he said now. But yeah, it seems like they're sort of playing with the tropes and leaning into the stereotypes and playing up the archetypes with the characters, and and that makes for an interesting horror movie, because we've probably gotten all of these different characters in various movies, but never all at once, right?
Or not all played by the same. Usually they're all white people, and you might have a black person being one of them. Maybe have, throw in an Asian guy,
right,
back in the day. And I think taking it back to some stuff that oh my God, I'm saying Key and Peele, but Jordan Peele. Says there's nothing wrong with the other movies. They've just already been told with those characters. So it's we're seeing it with these types of characters, and a cabin in the woods, people getting killed. Nothing new, but by changing a few things here or there, it does make it fresh. And sometimes all you need is a little bit turn of the dial to make it different, and kind of, okay, well, what are they going to do here? You still had stereotypes, Sheriff White, was still a dumbass, podunk sheriff from Sheboygan, who was an idiot. Hillbillies are the same all over the world for the most part.
Redneck twins.
Yeah,
so I think what the interesting thing for me is the board game. So there's a mystery involved in this. Who is running this game? That's kind of the thing, is there must be someone behind it. I wasn't sure if it was sort of a supernatural thing at first, or maybe if it was, a couple lures people to this and then has them play the game. But basically the game is about black culture, questions about black culture. If you can't answer correctly, you in the time allotted, you die. That end of story. If you don't play the game, or if you get it wrong, you die. So it's sort of like, in a way, it's like almost like I don't want to relate it to Saw necessarily, but it's like, you want to play a game and then you're in these impossible situations. But in this case, it's not torture or you're handcuffed to something. You have to cut your arm off. It's these situations in which you have to sort of like question your own and other people's blackness. And in this case, like, I found it really telling and funny, like when they asked the question about Friends. Like, I thought that
the living single eye, I fucking lost it.
Yeah. I had a feeling you guys would like that.
Because that's a trope too. And that's the thing too, is also, it's also less, I mean, obviously, if I saw, a Guinea Wop board game with like a pizza that you can spin the dice, I can say that.
Guinea Wop.
I felt like, how many mafia films was the actor who played Paulie Walnuts in? Well, he was in fucking Goodfellas. He was, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But also too, and they're also partying. I like from the jump, they're taking Molly, they're fucking taking some amphetamines. You know what I mean? They're getting down.
Yeah. And
I love the Kool-Aid scene.
Oh, Jesus.
I mean, the guy's just dumping shit tons of sugar in this thing. Oh my god!
And everyone's like, "Damn, this fucking sucks, dude. What the fuck, bro?"
Yeah, even they were like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, right. Even they were like,
"Yeah, it's they definitely lean into a lot of that stuff." And so the game is asking these sort of like questions, and of course there's like an element of like surprise, because it's like, this can't be real, like someone's fucking with us, right? Like, so there's that element of, but then when they find out like it's serious, and I will say this, it's not, I don't think it's super spoilery, but one of the questions I thought was super interesting, and this happens like maybe halfway through, like, who is the least black out of all of you? Like, they had to pick the person who is the least black, I'm sorry, was it most black?
It was
most black. I'm sorry. Yeah.
Because that person had to die.
Right. So they had to sacrifice one person, the person who is the blackest. So they're going.
Oh, no. There was a least black. No, that came later.
Yeah.
There was a least black.
Yeah, mix it up.
Yeah. Which is one thing I want to say, just while I'm thinking about it, that ties into, and I do also hate Will Smith now, so I'm joining MZ's camp. But there was a great Fresh Prince episode where Carlton was questioned. He wouldn't be allowed in the fraternity by the actor. He was in Showgirls, the dance instructor. He's a great actor. But like, and Carlton was like, "What the fuck? Like, really? Like, it's such a weird thing where that's a thing. You're not this enough. You're not that enough."
And
like,
and you know what? It's one thing that's interesting is it's not just like, in this case, this movie specifically, it is about blackness, but a lot of people are questioned about their whateverness, their femininity, their masculinity, their how Italian they are, how Jewish they are, whatever. Like, it's called into question a lot. And there's another element of this too. Not that this is a part of the movie, but appropriation. Like, there's like cultural appropriation is. There was a time when it was thought that you shouldn't appropriate anything, and now there's like sometimes when it's okay, So it's really interesting to kind of think about what, like, what is acceptable and what isn't, and who makes that determination, right? Like, that's the interesting thing, is because there's no, like, like Black King in this case, like who says you have to do this, you have to do that to be seen as black. Or in Ravenshaw's case, there's no, Italian king who's like, yeah, you got to eat 10 slices of pizza a day, like you got to do this, or else you ain't Italian, like there's no one determining this.
It's a funny, and I've been told that too. I'm like, oh, well, I don't like eggplant or something. And like, oh, you don't call yourself an Italian? And I've gotten that too. It's just breaking balls.
Right,
and by no means is it a like to like comparison to what other people have gone through. I mean, hence, I am 6'3". I'm not fully Italian.
Yeah.
I'm a little tall than most of the cast of Sopranos.
You ain't no Danny DeVito.
Yeah, right. Yeah. He's got one up on me. I can't be made. You know what I mean? But it's a weird thing. It's never. But then again, there's one thing too. We're all over the place. But like, purebreds aren't good, right? It's all inbreed. I think the best thing is to be, and you get the fucking royal family. Sorry,
right. Yeah,
or Humphrey Dumpty Doo from Preacher. Remember him?
Oh, yeah.
You want the diverseness. Yeah, right. Throwing poop at people. You want the diversity of stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. I love that shit.
Yeah, and so that's kind of the interesting thing here is I feel like, and once again, this is the view of a straight white dude.
Right.
And looking at it, I feel like it's sort of a meta take on the stereotypes that surround black culture, how they're viewed by the outside, like white people specifically, and also how other black people view each other within the culture, and how people make determinations about like, oh, well, they're not black enough or whatever, and that does play, without getting too deep into it, that does play a big role in this movie, is, like each individual character's blackness, with obviously you guys know what I'm talking about. It ends up being a little spoiler if we talk too much more about it.
Right.
But I think it's really interesting about, because in this, even though we do have a clear sort of like antagonist, in a way, the antagonist was created by the protagonists, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I felt like that was a really interesting sort of look at this, is in a way they created their own villain,
100%.
It's simple. It's it's I mean, that's a tale.
You're cutting out again, MZ. It's difficult to make out what you're saying right now.
Of course,
unfortunately. So I'm not sure what hopefully MZ gets can say what he wants to say. But yeah, I feel like I don't know. It's just such a interesting take on it. I mean, there's so many layers to it, like and it's the perspective of how in this case it's about black culture, but how black people are seen from the outside and the stereotypes that surround that. And then there's like how they're seen amongst each other. And, I just feel it's an interesting dynamic. And yes, at its heart, it's a horror comedy. But that comedy also has a lot of seriousness to it. There's a lot of seriousness involved in this film in how people are perceived and how they are, I guess, like interacted with,
Right, and there's some things it leans into too. I mean, let's just face it. There's a scene where they're watching people on camera, and they're all reacting.
Like in a movie theater.
Right. I mean, but it's also them amongst a peer group who have history. So you're going to have a little more natural ball busting. If you listen to the show for the last almost 11 years, people who have a level of closeness, we're going to bust balls on various things, and obviously they're all down with each other, but they still, they lean into some jokes. So I think there was the levity was there because there was some serious stuff. And when the kills happened, there was tension because the way the method of murder was pretty fucking scary, and effective.
Yeah. Definitely. Let me.
And what?
Oh, go ahead. Finish.
No, and even like the masked killer.
Oh God, yeah.
Had a look
Oh,
where
yeah,
I'm like,
I had a look.
oh, that's what that mask is. Oh, it's not just like a leather mask. Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Yeah, and that's kind of why I wanted to. I wish we could delve a little bit deeper into spoiler territory, but I don't want to because I feel like people should see this on their own. But it's one of those things where there's just an interesting dynamic about where this goes and what it says. And I'm trying to think about how to kind of tiptoe around it. And you're right. So about the mask, if you think about the antagonist, if you move forward in the story and think about the antagonist and think about why they would choose something like this, right? Like,
yeah,
it's interesting to get into the thinking about that. And really, when it comes down to it, it does make sense. And I feel like it's saying something. I have to very carefully tiptoe around this, but it's saying something about people like that. And when I say like that, I mean the antagonist who was maybe shunned by other people, and because of that, maybe accepted a different sort of way of life or culture. Does that make sense to you without spoiling it?
I know.
Like when he talked about who he voted for.
Yeah. Which obviously,
But when you think about what happened, right, and what happened to get to this point, to me it makes sense. Well, I guess in a way, like I could see that arc of, okay, because this happened 10 years ago, this is where you end up 10 years later, because the way you felt about a situation and, and all that, like, I could see that. I don't want to be too vague. It's probably kind of boring to hear, but I feel like that was really kind of an interesting decision to go in that direction.
Everything that happened in this movie happened for a reason.
Right.
Methodical plan. It just wasn't. I know it sucks, and we've already gone too far. Not that I want to spoil stuff, but it just maybe stop listening and then watch the movie. Hopefully, we've been tiptoeing enough, but
pause the movie. Pause the podcast.
Yeah. But everything had a purpose, which I think also sets it apart from maybe other slashers.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it totally does. I mean, this doesn't feel like your typical slasher. It actually feels like something a little different. And in a way, there's a meta sort of like angle to this, but not in the way that like Scream is meta, right? Like I feel like this
Right.
movie isn't necessarily self-aware, if that.
Thank you.
Yeah, but it's self-aware of what it's poking fun at and presenting to the audience, which I find really interesting. And it's a perspective
the title is key.
Yeah.
The title and the intro are key to this movie.
Yeah.
The credits, I mean to say.
Yeah, for sure. Looks like MZ is having issues reconnecting. I think he said his internet is just completely down, it looks like. So
we're getting bad thunderstorms here.
Well, he is pretty far away from you, but who knows? I'm actually going to change to a 2-cam thing here so I can get rid of the technical difficulties, because I don't know if he's going to be able to make it back.
Can he call in?
I can't remember if we have the ability to do that. I think so. Let me see if I'm going to switch to, if you can ask him, I'm going to switch to a 2-camera thing here.
I'm texting him now.
All right, so sorry for the the delay, folks. Just trying to get this thing. I'd prefer to get MZ back if we can.
No, because I know he has a lot of this is his gimmick. I want him to impart his guru knowledge on some stuff.
Yeah.
But I think this does capture a lot of stuff that's going on now with a great cast. And there's something I can't wait to talk to Wolfie about down the line, something that the friends share, but we'll get to that. But I think this does things really well. And another thing I love about this movie is that the characters fight back against the threat. They fight back against what's trying to hurt them. It's not just, the vapors or the girl drowning in the porta potty from Sleepaway Camp 2 covered in leeches or whatever the fuck. Maybe it was the first one. I'm not sure. These characters don't go quietly into the night. Maybe some are surprised, but there's still strength in numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And you got some powerful characters here, male and female.
Yeah. Totally.
And I love that everybody has their moment to shine.
Yeah, I think that's pretty accurate. I think we do get a lot I think every character. I'm trying to think of. I think every character does get a moment,
Yeah.
Which is cool. And let's see. Oh, he says I need more than 3 minutes to discuss this film. I think what he did you mean he should send in a voice message?
Either voicemail or call in.
Oh, okay, because I think we might be able to get him to call in.
Yeah. We may be able to get you to call in. This is what I'm texting him on Cesaro right now. You're peeling back the curtain.
Yeah, sorry, folks. It's tough to, in a live show, I have four monitors right in front of me, 2 computers, trying to make this happen because I don't want to lose MZ. If you wouldn't mind, Raven Shadow, maybe talk just for a minute about the movie, and I'm going to try to see if I can maybe get him.
Yeah, for sure. And also too, Wolfie did spend an hour trying to get my shit going, so it's been challenging, but yeah, I thought it. Let's say I think every character had an archetype, and it was explored. And those characters, we're all archetypes in a certain degree. And taking it back to, I liked that they weren't pushovers. Some characters may have been surprised, which sure, you don't expect to have a mass killer attacking your 10-year anniversary. But when shit does hit the fan, these characters had plans and they organized. Now, maybe some plans weren't always the smartest, but I like how characters fought back. And I also like, too, before the horror elements happened, you get a chance to see these characters get together. And I think it was done in a variety of ways. I think it worked where characters arrived differently. So we saw 3 characters arrive in one car, 2 characters arrived in another, 1 arrived by themselves. And through their getting reconnected conversations, you find more of a backstory. And even through certain conversations, maybe things they might have in their possession would make sense, or how they behaved made sense. And it sounded like they were old friends. As somebody who's been reconnecting with old friends as of late, you just pick up where you left off, and that's the magic trick of being really tight. And these characters did that.
Yeah.
You know, heck, even when shit was going down, they were kind of still, well, motherfucker, you did this. Sometimes that happens with friends where you're like, now is not the fucking time to have this conversation, you know? And I like that. And unlike some horror movies where you want these people to die, I didn't want anybody to die.
I know, right? Well, aside
it was
from
the opposite.
Yeah, aside from like antagonists or whatever.
Well, right. You know, and I don't want to call an atomic dog, which only 2 people on the show, well, 1 person on the show now will get, but I did call it. But yeah, you like all these characters. I wish they just had a fun weekend.
Just follow them around, like having a fun weekend, no horror at all.
I wish they just maybe played a different game, you know, maybe Stratego or Risk. That could be fun. You know, it takes a long time. But shit goes down. You see some different things in here. What I like about it, the simplicity of the I'm saying slasher, the simplicity and the uniqueness of the slasher design, and the simplicity, uniqueness, and power of the weapon used. You had some good gimmicks here. You know, you had a character that, you know, Leatherface has his chainsaw. You know, Jason has a whole bunch of shit. Machete, first thing comes in mind. Freddy and his claws. This slasher had a gimmick, and it worked. And I thought that was interesting. And when you set a trap, and they were essentially in a trap where they were out of their element, and it made sense. Now, were there times where you're like, don't fucking do that?
Right.
But still, what do you do when you've been fighting for so many hours? You're coming off drinking a handful of drugs and you're panicking. But nothing was completely ridiculous, aside from a certain local small town sheriff.
Yeah, I just found this review. It's on themovieblog.com. I just want to read this real quick. I think it's actually pretty succinct. It says, Tim Story's film, The Blackening, is a thrilling and thought-provoking exploration of racism, identity, and the consequences of prejudice. Through its narrative of a group of friends trapped in a cabin with a killer who forces them to confront their own biases, the film delivers a powerful message about the dangers of perpetuating stereotypes and the importance of unity in the face of adversity. To me, I think that's a good summation of sort of what's going on, is that it really is tackling it's tackling quite a bit. Yes, it does discuss a lot about black stereotypes, but also, and that's one thing that I thought too, is that the importance of unity in the face of adversity, right? Like, yes. if everyone, and I, you know, I'm not talking specifically about black people here, but if people would just unite and stop infighting and causing, like, you know, questioning whether someone is too much of this or not enough of that, and if we were able to unite,
right,
and rise up, like that is super powerful, right? And that's why I think that's the reason for systemic racism is so to keep people down, right? Like specifically to keep them infighting and to keep them down. And, like it's just set up in a way that just, it's just ridiculous. So let me go on and read a little bit more. It says, throughout the film, the characters are subjected to a series of challenges and questions that test their knowledge of African American culture. These questions highlight the importance of understanding and appreciating one's cultural heritage while also exposing the ignorance and biases that can exist within a community. The game's demand for the sacrifice of one of their own based on their perceived level of blackness forces the characters to grapple with the damaging effects of internalized racism and the harm it inflicts on individuals and communities.
Well, that's huge too, man. And that's the thing. Like, it's funny how, once again, smarter people than I can discuss this.
Yeah.
But they're not here, and they're not on Trick or Treat Radio. So what are you gonna do? You got us. Sorry. It's a writer's strike.
Yeah, the podcasting strike next.
Yeah, right. Yeah. But like, it's funny. Like, the middle class will hate the lower class, but not get pissed off at the wealthy, right? It's almost like, what if we just stopped worrying about whose God has a bigger dick and worrying about who somebody wants to fuck if it's consensual? What if we just did that for a little while? Don't worry about those two things. Let's see what happens. You know what I mean? And it's one thing busting balls. That's one thing. But it's something they want us to fight amongst ourselves.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, we keep fighting. You want it, whether it's, and it's fine too to love your culture. I lean into the Italian shit. I'm not 100% Italian. I just round to it. You know what I mean?
You round up to Italian?
I round up to it. You know what I mean? Like, it's great to enjoy that thing, but no one has to be, you don't get a trophy if you're the most Guinea. And that cascades down.
Although it'd be pretty cool if you did, Raven Chat.
It'd be fucking awesome, though. It was, again, I'm leaning into it, like giant fucking pepperoni on it, like with James Gandolfini on it, be fucking killer, bro.
Oh my God, I was closing out a few tabs on my browser and I had the Sambo thing open. And I just remembered there was a wrestling character played by Tony Atlas named Saba Simba.
Yeah, not good. Not good.
And it's interesting because I'm actually listening to a podcast called, amazingly, I've been getting through this 6-part podcast for the last couple months it's called Behind the Bastards. And it's done by a bunch of comedy writers. Like, they used to be with cracked.com.
Okay, yep.
Or I think most of them, or I don't know if all of them. But anyways, the show Behind the Bastards examines like evil fucking people throughout time. And the one that I'm listening to is Vince McMahon. Yeah. And it talked about I forget the example. He grew up in North Carolina. I actually didn't know Vince actually is a bastard. Did you know that?
Well, I mean, like, in terms of a father, like,
yeah.
He's
his father, Vincent McMahon Sr., had sex with another woman. They weren't married. So he technically is a bastard, which is kind of funny. They said it's the first time that they've done Behind the Bastards on an actual bastard.
Hey, oh, goddamn, pal.
Yeah. But there was some, oh man, like I actually forget what it was, but there was something. So he grew up in like 50s or 60s. Was maybe they were talking about his dad. I don't remember now. Actually, I think it was the Vince we know. But anyways, like growing up in North Carolina at the time, apparently there is some stuff about him being like racist about some of the people he was with or grew up with. I forget what it was. It's 6 episodes, and so I'm forgetting some of the stuff. But, I mean, just looking at like some of the depiction of black wrestlers in WWE, it's like a fucking like who's who of stereotypes, right?
It's not great. I mean, I mean, what Tony Atlas was what Mr. USA, Mr. Olympia.
Yeah, he also was Saba Simba though.
And then Saba Simba, like fucking really. And even at like 12, I'm like, that's kind of fucked up, bro. Like it's not really good. I love JYD as a performer, entertainer. He was one of my first Galoob figures.
Oh yeah, I had that too.
Yeah, but you know, his gimmick was to get a chain around his neck. You know what they made Booker T GI Bro in WCW for a while. I mean, Booker T is his real name, by the way. I didn't know that.
Oh, Booker Huffman, but yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, even you could go further. Like, I mean, granted, different times, different things were more acceptable. But looking back,
it's an exaggerated, cartoon thing.
Looking back, though, it is like it's indefensible now. You know,
right.
Chief J Strongbow, Virgil, fucking Virgil, right? Jesus Christ, the fucking like manservant. You know,
I was watching the pool gimmick, the pool promo the other day. It came up, and I'm like, ooh, wow, yeah, that's not good. You know my love of DX.
Yeah,
there was a skit that I really can't watch anymore.
Oh, with the kid, right? Where he was Mark.
Oh, with all of them.
Oh, all of them. That's right. That's true. Yeah, but he did Mark Henry though. Ms. Ark Henry.
He was
right?
Ms. Ark Henry, and yeah. You know, that's not on the network, gang.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the top 20 most racist gimmicks in wrestling. Charles Wright actually had 2 of the worst ones, probably, in Papa Shango and The Godfather. He played 2 of them within years apart, right?
Yeah. Wow.
What about? I mean, you know, like getting away from just black stereotypes. What about the fucking Mexicools? You remember
what's
them?
the thing? I mean, like
coming to the ring on a fucking lawnmower, riding lawnmower.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know about this one. Like, I haven't thought a lot about the Nation of Domination. For me, like the way I remember it was just a lot of these black wrestlers kind of banding together because no one else is going to give them opportunities. So they're like, well, we better band together and take them, you know? It was definitely a little vigilant, I guess, if you will.
But I thought it was powerful, though. I thought they were, you had Farouk.
Farouk originally was, like, ridiculous when he had, like, the fucking face mask or whatever. But when he started to come out in black, it was a little bit different. But I don't know if you remember, for a little while, he had, like a half face mask kind of deal.
Oh, see, I wasn't watching that. When I joined you guys, it was at the tail end when the Rocket, and Owen was part of the team.
Yeah. Well, out of all people, right?
Owen Hart, the Canadian.
Do you remember? I almost, not that I've forgotten about this, but I haven't thought about this in a while. They had the Gang Wars. It was the Nation of Domination. It was the Boricuas, and it was I can't remember what they called the other guys. The Disciples of the Apocalypse.
DOA.
DOA.
Bikers.
It was the bikers. Yep. 2 of them were bald, which, you know, if that's not a stereotype, you know. Yeah. Kamala. I don't mean to go through all of them, but
and Akeem, the African Dream, he looked very Caucasian to me.
Yes, he was. Harlem Heat. Akeem, it was number 3 on this list of top 20.
Yeah.
Number 2, the Gangstas. New Jack,
Yeah. New Jack had his own problems, though.
Oh, and I actually forgot about this. Roddy Piper did half a blackface.
Oh.
WrestleMania 6 against Bad News Brown, Piper had talked of painting half his face black as a way to rile Brown up and did promos for it. But for the actual match, he went the next step by painting half his entire body black, with the entire of his black half doing some wild soul dancing for the crowd. Ooh, I actually forgot about that. That is cringe, like super fucking cringe, man. Oh, God.
That's not good.
I'm almost embarrassed. Like... So there's some. I mean, clearly, there's a lot of examples out there.
Right.
One thing I wanted to say, Corny had said in the chat a little bit ago, I wanted to mention is he said, as a nerd, I got the not black enough a lot growing up. So Corny being someone who's into comic books and comic movies and horror and stuff like that, he said that he got that a lot growing up in Alabama. As a black man, that he was told that he wasn't black enough,
which is fucked up. Like, say you don't get,
but that's what this movie is sort of getting at some points,
Right, it's causing more infighting in separation, it's still dehumanize someone.
Yes,
you're not this enough.
And that's the fucking, that is the fucking Hitler playbook. And the Trump playbook is if you dehumanize people, then you make them less than, and you can feel okay to lord over them and to make yourself appear, to be on a different platform and pedestal. So, yeah.
Or you're not metal enough. Oh, you like Depeche Mode or...
Yeah. It's all gatekeeping in a way,
Right.
There's before we wrap this up, one other thing I want to read about from this review I was quoting earlier. I'm gonna have to cut some of it out because it talks about some spoiler stuff. But it says the Blackening also highlights how individuals can be manipulated and exploited based on their insecurities and vulnerabilities. Yep. It says the mastermind behind the events, I'm going to skip some of it, expresses his resentment towards the group for doubting something about him. His desire for revenge stems from his own internalized struggles and feelings of inadequacy. This exploration of the effects of internalized racism and the potential for it to manifest in destructive ways add depth and complexity to the film's message. So, yeah, I mean, there's internalized racism, there's internalized misogyny. Like, there is some women out there that are like, oh, like the men should be in control. Like we should just, stay at home and do our duty. Like there's some women that are completely parroting that whole fucking thing, and that's, that right there is very much, internalized misogyny, internalized racism. It's a thing. And because things are fed to you over and over and over, eventually you're going to believe it, right? Unless you take that hard look at yourself and say, is this something I believe? Is this something, do you want to question yourself and think about how you feel about a thing? It can be difficult to do for sure, but you know what? Like, I feel like it's something that people should constantly be reevaluating how they think about things. Because there may be information out there that they didn't have previous when they made a determination of it, So I know we could probably go on, but.
And I think what you say, Wolfie, too, even about reevaluating even us, or friends we have, it's stuff that I think we've all been very liberal and very on the same page in a lot of things. But also, too, it's unlearning things that, well, that's cool. That's okay. That's because it was that. Yeah. Maybe it wasn't okay. Even we thought it was okay. It's just that continued.
Yeah. And I think it was just because that was what was accepted. Just because something is accepted doesn't mean it's right. Right.
Right.
If there's a public perception that, oh, it's okay to say the N-word, you know, like that's not for us to decide though. You know, it's not for the zeitgeist, the public. It's for, you know, people who might be offended, you know, about the usage of that should decide. And that's the thing. I think that, you know, I think maybe at some points it went a little bit too extreme, like, and I hope, and when I say that, I don't mean that it was a bad thing. I feel like there's some course correction where I feel like just if you're willing to listen and to hear people's experiences, that's really the best that we can do. Is, you know what, like, it's not for us to say. I can't say what the experience of, you know, of a black person is. I don't know. I mean, the closest, I don't know, like, this isn't even really, it doesn't really matter, but my father remarried, he married a black woman, and they have two children together.
Oh.
So, like, I have two sisters that are half black, you know.
Is that new?
No. They both graduated college.
I'm just finding this out now. Wow. Okay, bro. Cool. Thanks, my friend.
Well, I never lived with them, you know, like that's probably why. So you wouldn't have met them, but
not true.
So it's one of those things that, and you know, I am interested in that experience because, you know, sure, like they grew up in New England. I'm sure it's a different experience than, you know, Corny is talking about growing up in Alabama, you know, like, so the experience may be different and all that, but I think that's the best we can do is to try to learn about it, hear what people experience, and to just try to be empathetic to people's struggles, because everyone's got a different struggle, you know, like even though we're two straight white dudes, you have a different struggle than I have, you know, like, and we don't even have like all that bullshit of like racism to worry about, you know, like as straight white dudes, like we literally have it the easiest out of anyone in this world. You know, sometimes it's we take it for granted because we struggle. Like I have trouble paying my bills, you know, and sometimes like, things are so difficult, but like then when you compare it to other people's experiences, it's like, you know what, like, sometimes things can be rough sometimes, but you know what, at least I don't have to worry about getting pulled over going to the fucking store, you know.
And I had this conversation at a cookout a couple of weeks ago. You know what I mean? I've never had to, you know, what can I say? I saw, as a young kid, I saw Janet on Three's Company. I saw Linda Carter on Wonder Woman, and Dale from Buck Rogers. You know, I'm like, okay, I'm pretty sure I'm straight. That's how it happened. I've never had to worry about holding somebody I cared about's hand walking down the street.
Right.
You know, unless their boyfriend or husband was around. It's a different story. But overall, I didn't have to worry about holding, you know, a lady friend I was with.
Yeah, you just do your thing. You don't have to worry about anyone looking at you funny or anything. Yeah.
You know, and that's just how it is. You know, but it's different. Or even the whole, it's history. Okay, well, there's certain German history that they don't fucking advertise. You know, Game 7 of the 2003 ALC East is part of Boston history. I don't want to fucking watch that game again. I don't want to see a statue of fucking Aaron fucking Boone. Okay? I'm making a joke, but like, you don't want to.
Yeah, you don't want to revisit certain things.
Celebrate the losers and the wrong shit.
Yeah.
You know, Columbus was a dick. Amerigo Vespucci's my dude.
Captain Amerigo Vespucci.
Captain Vespucci!
So,
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean,
one thing I do want to say before we, I know we're getting off on a rant. There's a gimmick in this movie that I loved how they did, and it was a way old friends communicate.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah.
And I really popped for it whenever they did it.
Yeah, and especially like I liked how it was sort of like co-opted a little bit at the end.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, I think we actually have a pretty good amount of voice messages, so I want to wrap this up so we can get to those. Let's see. Corny said, "That's how my cousins taught me to make Kool-Aid, like from this movie with the tons of sugar."
That's fair. Yeah, Kool-Aid is fucking delicious.
Not probably not with that much sugar though.
Probably not. I love. My gimmick was super sugary iced tea, the fucking Lipton shit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that was my jam.
All right. Well, I think we could probably do the verdict and just kind of get out the remaining thoughts that we may have in that. So let's do it.
Trick or treat, baby.
I wonder if people would say you're a trick or a treat.
Trick or treat, motherfucker.
Oh, that's not Busta. Fuck.
Yeah, it was.
No. I mean the video. It
Oh.
Yeah, I forgot that the Stream Deck is fucking broken, so it keeps. It's not broken. It's just I updated and it doesn't like when I do that. So
It's consistent with the course.
Yeah, consistent with today. All right. Well, sorry, no Busta Rhymes on the on the video end of things.
Woo-ha.
All right, so let's do a verdict. So Raven Shadow, go ahead. Give us your thoughts, your final verdict on the Blackening, Trick or Treat, and final thoughts.
Yeah, man. I really enjoyed this picture a lot. Love the cast. And I am a big Tim Story fan. And listen, his Fantastic Four was fine for what it was back in the day, man. It was a different, it was a different time. It was better than a lot of the WWF gimmicks, that's for sure.
Oh, God, yeah, I'm sure it was.
So, not perfect. Larry Fish was a great voice of the Silver Surfer. But, it's funny. I mean, man, it's the same fucking... We keep doing the same fucking shit as a fucking culture. We should really be fucking doing some Star Trek shit right now, man. Sorry.
What's Star Trek shit?
Like joining together and fucking as a one federation and going to the stars.
Oh, okay.
And not like fighting and like fucking having like, foods that can simulate taste like other things and have like race and gimmicks not be a fucking thing. I don't know. I'm not saying kumbaya. I'm just saying, we all like boobs and we all like dicks.
Some more than others and some like both, I guess.
Yeah, however you wanna use it amongst your own thing, that's fine. Can we all agree on that? It's a treat, man.
All right, that was waiting. All right, and yeah, for me, this is also a treat. This was a lot of fun, and it was challenging, like I said, in a way that makes you think about the kind of the what it's proposing, what it's bringing to the table, and it gives you a perspective that you might not understand otherwise. And I mean, I think like this film couldn't have been directed by a white dude or white woman. Like it just wouldn't work, there's a lot of sort of sensitive stuff, and if done by a white person would be seen in a way that's not acceptable. But I think that this is definitely a really interesting film, and how it sort of dissects stereotypes, race, and how it kind of shows that really like unity is what's important, is seeing past our differences and sort of uniting against the bad guys, so to speak. That would help a lot. So I think, there's some really fun performances in this. I think it's just a really, really fun movie overall. Like it had good comedy, it had good horror, it had good, decent gore. I don't think it was going for a lot of gore, but
no.
A lot of funny scenes. So this is a treat for me, and I'm glad that folks recommended it and that we were able to talk about it on the show. Well, most of us, while he was here, unfortunately, he was having internet issues tonight. It's too bad. I think he said he's going to post a video on the group, though. So if you guys are on the Facebook group, give that a look. I think he's going to post it up probably in a few days. So, all right. Well, treats all around so far. So, if you guys haven't seen The Blackening, check it out. It is available on VOD. And definitely worth a watch. And it's one of those films that'll definitely challenge you, definitely get you thinking a little bit. And also, it's just enjoyable. It's fun. It's funny. And it's just a good film. So, all right. Well, that's going to wrap up our discussion of The Blackening. Now, for next week, since Rave Chow might be a little bummed out about this, since on the 11th anniversary show is coming up. That's in 2 weeks. And as of right now, we're considering not doing a movie, which is kind of par of the course. A lot of times we don't do films for the milestone shows. We have other stuff going on. So as of right now, I don't think we're going to be doing a movie. So because of that, I'm going to give us an extra long movie for next week, Raven Shadow.
What the fuck?
So next week, this is one I've been super, super interested in checking out. Mostly because I really dig the filmmaker, and he has some very interesting films so far in his filmography. This is only his third, I think, feature. Let me just double check and make sure. Yeah, it's only his third feature film, which is pretty crazy because he's already got a ton of success under his belt. But we're going to be talking about the new film from Ari Aster, Beau is Afraid. And Ari Aster has directed the films Hereditary and Midsommar. I can't remember. Did you see Hereditary, Raven Shadow?
Did I? Did we do it on the show?
No, we didn't do it on the show.
I don't.
All right, you probably haven't then.
I saw Midsommar.
Yeah, we did that for the show.
All right, so it's gonna be long and
3 hours.
slow.
3 hours.
Oh, good.
3-hour movie. Beau is Afraid, but it stars Joaquin Phoenix. That's cool, right?
There you go.
Yeah, stars him. It's got Nathan Lane in it.
No, yeah, there you go. Birdcage, like a motherfucker.
It's got Parker Posey.
Ooh, okay.
It's got Amy Ryan. She played, I don't know if you saw The Office. She played Michael Scott's love interest in The Office.
Well, she's also Doctor Who, right? Doctor Who?
Is that true?
Was she, no, she wasn't Doctor Who, but I think she played a companion. She British?
I believe she is. I don't know if, I mean, I'm not the best person to ask about Doctor Who, so.
Coney, was she in Doctor Who?
Waiting for real time. I'm just kind of scanning through. I don't think that's her. I don't think that's the person that we're thinking of.
Oh. She should be in this movie. She's good.
Yeah. Well, anyways, she's a comedian. She's funny. She's a funny actress. She was good in The Office. No, she's not British. She was born in New York, so it's not her.
Okay.
Amy. Fuck. What is her name? I know exactly who.
Amy Pond?
Pond. I think that's it. Yeah.
That was the character. Okay. But no, I wasn't thinking about her. But regardless.
Oh, Marion says, I think Raven Shadow's thinking of Karen Gillan.
No.
I gotta look this up. Doctor Who. What was it called again? What was the role? It was a companion.
A companion. I think she'd be under either Tennant or the bow tie motherfucker.
Matt Smith.
Matt
right?
Smith. Eccleston was my dude. Because he wore a leather jacket, looked cool. And Billy Piper was his companion. Yo.
All right. I'm looking at a list of companions. Amy Pond.
Amy Pond was Karen Gillan.
Karen Gillan, yeah.
Was very much a suitable companion, absolutely. But no, I thought there was like a British chick. She had like hair.
She had hair.
Just hair.
Really leaning into that Chat GPT thing.
I think I may have wrote that.
Okay, so here are the companions. Do you want the actor's name or the companion's name?
Probably the actor name because I don't.
Okay, Carol Ann Ford, Jacqueline Hill, William Russell, Maureen O'Brien. Oh, wait, these are just like, this is the early shit. So you're thinking like later.
Yeah, no, I don't want that shit. Fucking, that's not for me. That's not my gimmick. The early, the old cast played him. Sorry, Linus. I don't want to offend Europe, but to me, it's Eccleston to Smith.
Billy Piper.
Oh yeah, dude, bro.
Kylie Minogue was a fucking companion.
Oh, I think she was.
Michelle Ryan? Is that who you're thinking of? She played Lady Christina de Souza.
Maybe, but I thought Michael Scott had like a girlfriend who was like another executive.
You're talking about Matt Smith. You said not Michael Scott.
Michael Scott's the new Doctor Who. He'd be killer. No, I thought, trying to call back to The Office. I thought there was like a British chick on that.
I don't fucking know.
I don't know.
Well, maybe someone out there knows.
Corny.
We are very much.
Yo,
it's a blind spot.
What's happening with you two?
I think Ollie's like, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This fucking podcast shit's going too long.
Yeah, I don't know why they're.
All right.
It's like cats and dogs over here.
Yeah, no shit. So let's wrap this up.
All right. It's the voicemails.
Yeah. So we're gonna do Bo is Afraid.
Bo is not afraid.
Bo is afraid.
No.
He is
So
afraid.
No.
He's very afraid. Be afraid. Be very afraid. So we're going to check out Bo is Afraid next week. If you guys have thoughts, let us know. Send them our way. podcast@trickortreatradio.com. All right. Voice messages. We get a bunch. Let's. Speaking of corny, I want to hear from the man himself. So let's check in with Evil Corny right now.
Hey guys, I'm going to give The Blackening a treat. I love this film. I saw it in the theaters a couple weeks ago. I think it's a real good mix of comedy and horror. And when I went to see it in the theater, the crowd was like totally, into this film. Everybody in the theater was laughing their ass off during, majority of this film. I think that all the jokes hit well in this. And I've seen some comedies. I really like to where it's not like the Scary Movie franchise to where they were making like a spoof movie or, a parody. It's actually real stakes for what's going on in this. The game was a trip to see, played out in, in theater and everything. But like I said, I really love this film. I think the cast was perfect. And like I said, I had a lot of fun with it in theaters. I can't wait until it's on social media. I can't wait until it's on physical media so I can own a copy of this. But hope you all enjoyed it. Evil Corny out.
All right, Corny. Always great to hear from you, buddy. And thanks for recommending this one. glad you dug it as well. Yeah, it must have been fun to see it in the theater for sure.
I could see it, especially the couple of lines at the end. I don't know. I think it could be. I'm sure it got a big pop.
Yeah. All right. The other person that recommended this is Dangerous Donnie Davis, and I want to hear from the man. Let's hear from Dangerous Donnie Davis and see what he thinks about The Blackening.
Triple D.
Evening, guys. This is Donnie, or Angry Townsman from Discord. Just wanted to give my thoughts on The Blackening. I was fortunate enough to get to see this in the theater and had just a fun theater-going experience. Blackening is a treat. I found it very funny, and while it may have not been totally aimed at me, I still enjoyed the heck out of it. Don't want to spoil it too much for anyone that hasn't seen it, but I do recommend you watch it. It's going to be one of the movies that enters my physical media collection. And just so much laugh out loud moments in the theater. Again, I'm all about the theater experience, and this was a great one. Stay for a little bit after the credits, how they get first responders' attention. Very funny. Wardrobe change included. Looking forward to hearing what y'all think of it. And this is one that I'm hoping we get a lot of voicemails on, because I want to know what everyone thought. Thanks. Bye.
All right, Triple D.
Yeah, boy.
So we heard from Donnie Davis and Evil Corny, the two who recommended it to us. So great to
DC and Triple D.
That's right. Great to hear from those guys and to get their thoughts on the film. Let's see. I think we're probably going to hear about the film as well from our next caller. So let's go ahead and let's hear from Creepy Girl.
Hey guys, Creepy Girl here. I just wanted to give my 2 cents about The Blackening. I thought it was a very smart film, a very intelligently written film. I like the way that they touched on, how it was kind of about racism, but it was not only about racism against the black community, but racism within the black community among themselves, and how they too stereotype white people. It was kind of like everybody being racist and everybody judging everybody. I thought it was kind of smart how they did that. Like they just kind of made it like, we all have in our head what, we think someone is going to be like just by looking at them, not necessarily because of the color of their skin, but by the way they act or whatever. So I thought that was really intelligent, very smart. The 2 things I did not like about this film, well, not that I didn't like, but one thing I really didn't like was that one character was a little overdone, I think, and that kind of gave away to me what was going to happen. I don't want to spoil that, but
I hear you.
And the kills could have been a little more interesting. I mean, it was a very suspenseful. I felt suspenseful. I felt engaged, and it was a well done film. But I graded it a 4 out of 5 just because of that, because I didn't like that one character, how they did it. I just felt like it didn't fit into the film, even though it was comedic and all that. But it just, I don't know. It everything else was so intelligent that I was just like, why did they do that? That was kind of a little off keister. But Yeah, and I wish they would have put some cooler kills in there or something. Just because it's a slasher, it ended up being like your typical you know slasher story where things twist and turn and it's not what it seems, and you know. But I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I would watch it again. It was a really good film, and that's all I got to say. Bye.
All right, creepy girl. So far, we've heard from 3 people. 2 want it in their physical media library, and creepy girl would see it again. So we got, I think I'd say some strong positive opinions so far in the movie. All right, let's see where we're going to go next here. All right, let's check in with Arkham Josh and see what the man has to say.
Hey, Trick or Treat Radio guys, it's Arkham Josh here, just calling in. First off, wanted to say thanks a lot for having me on a couple of weeks ago. It was a blast as usual. While I was on, I actually forgot to give you guys my input on the film from the week before that, Sisu. Not to go into much detail, but just to pretty much agree with everything you guys said. It's a blast. It's a lot of fun. Actors are great. Characters are great. I got to see it when it was in its theatrical run, and it was just fantastic fun on the big screen. So a treat and a recommend. This week's film, The Blackening. I had hoped to see this in the theater, but it kind of came and went quickly. And I just happened to be busy that couple of weeks and didn't make it out to the theater, unfortunately. I thought that this was a smart, well-written film. It had some interesting characters, an interesting setup. I kind of saw the end, in a way, coming.
Yeah.
There was a couple little things that gave it away to me, but I did feel like they did a good job of trying to throw you off of that track. But overall, I thought it was very entertaining, and had some exciting sequences, had some funny sequences. So again, I would actually give it a treat and a recommend. I think a lot of people I spoke to seem to think that this was kind of a spoof film, and I think that's one thing people aren't getting, that like it is a horror comedy, but it isn't a spoof. Like it's kind of its own thing. And I hope more people figure that out when it hits streaming, because this is actually quite a good film. So like I said, treat and a recommend. I hope you guys are all doing good, beating the heat, and not like sweating to death or anything. And I hope to talk to you guys soon. All right, you guys all have a good one. Bye.
Awesome, Josh. Thank you. Good to hear Josh's thoughts on Sisu, and so far, pretty overwhelmingly positive for The Blackening here. So that's awesome. Do you think that this could be a franchise, Raven Shadow?
I prefer it not be.
Yeah.
I kind of got that vibe a little bit. Like, I think this overall, I think what worked for me on this picture was that it was a very personal story, a personal execution of a story we've seen before.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not really covering new ground in terms of like the type of horror film, but when you mix that with the content and the story, then it becomes something a little bit different. So yeah, I think that you're right about that, but it makes it enough of a twist where it becomes really interesting because of that.
Yeah, and like I said, it even like the weapons used were to keep them either there or kill them. I mean, could there be a second one? I guess, money talks, right? But I think this is a great standalone special picture that now would I want to see Tim Story continue in the horror world? Sure. Yeah. But I'm glad he's more back on the map for me, and I'm down for what he does next, and I'm down with what everybody in this cast does next because they were all killer. There was a particular tree scene where I like that character's moment.
Yeah, that was fun. I thought that there was that was awesome actually. I thought you were talking the tree scene. Yeah, I thought you were talking about what preceded that, but yeah, that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, and arrows are scary.
Yeah, they are. I like how someone, I won't say who, but someone got injured pulling an arrow out of somebody. I thought that was pretty funny.
Oh yeah, which you'll see before, and then I'm wondering, I seem to remember, you shouldn't, if you hit with an arrow, you shouldn't pull it out because it might make the wound worse.
Yes. You're supposed to keep it in, but what the fuck do we know, right?
Yeah, right.
I guess if you break it off, then you can pull it out. But yeah, if you pull the arrow out the wrong way, I think that's where the problem lies.
But it was cool. Actually, I did notice the arrow. The arrows were a point, almost like a bullet.
Yeah.
So it didn't have the traditional arrowhead.
True. Yeah.
Which, because there are some diabolical arrows that do, if you go to pull it out, it could pull like organs and stuff out with it as well.
Yep.
But ain't no fucking body armor for arrows, bro.
Yeah, no shit. All right. We got two more. This is
nice.
Two more voice messages. A blast from the past. We haven't heard from this dude in a long time, and it's good to hear from him. I hope that he is doing well. I'm sure we'll find out. So let's check in with Jethro Nomicon.
Stop it.
Hello, fellas. This is Jethro Nomicon. And something's been bothering me about the Marvel cinematic universe lately. There's a lot of small people to make all the cogs work as far as continuity and everything. And I keep asking myself, why is there no Rick Jones? Rick Jones, he's kind of got this ability to be like a Forrest Gump that is always present at a lot of the major Marvel events. He's just your average guy that's trying to save the Hulk and trying to be a superhero and sometimes being a superhero. And I just kind of feel like Disney Plus is missing out if they don't do a series about Rick Jones. So what are your thoughts on this? I think we should get everybody to sign on the dotted line and get this thing on the green light. Anyway, let me know what you think, and we'll talk soon. Bye.
Well, first off, it's great to fucking hear from Jethro. Dude's the best. Rave Chow, you have thoughts. I could see you getting ready.
Bro, I'm fucking getting duked up right now, man. And I'm sorry that MZ is not with us anymore, but Jethro, I am a huge Rick Jones mark. Specifically the Peter David run, when Hulk was with the Pantheon, Rick Jones grew his hair out, was dating Marlo, the redhead that the Hulk did kind of date before when he was Mr. Fix-It. Whole different fucking storyline. But yeah, not only was Rick Jones responsible for the Hulk, he body swapped with Captain Marvel back in the day. And for a while, he was also Bucky number 2 or second Bucky, if you will. So yeah, that dude he was trained by Captain America, been involved in so much heroic things, the Kree Skrull War. I agree. He's been absent from every single Hulk interpretation cinematically and television, and it's a shame. I would love them working that angle in. So I agree with you 100%, brother. And I would love for them to bring in Rick Jones. I'm not sure how. who knows? Maybe we'll see him in whatever the fuck this new movie is, Brave New World. But I agree. I think he's missing from the cinematic Hulk mythos. And Rick Jones for life, baby.
I'm Rick Jones, bitch.
I'm Rick Jones, bitch.
Oh shit! All right, well,
message me, bro.
That's awesome, Jethro. It's great to hear from you, man. It's been a while. I hope all is good in your neck of the woods. Yeah, don't hesitate to call in again, man. Love hearing from you, buddy.
Yeah.
Hope you're doing well. Yeah, I don't know too much about Rick Jones, but I know enough to know that he would be kind of a cool character to feature. And honestly, I'm actually a little surprised that he hasn't been featured at some point.
Yeah, he's a great character. He was featured really prominently in a great collection called Avengers Forever, written by Kurt Busiek and art by the great Carlos Pacheco. That was really good. And there was a great issue for Rick Jones' bachelor party. All the Avengers are there. It's a Cap, Vision, Hercules, and they are showing a movie, a stag film. And like he's getting his drink on with Cap there. Like, oh, I must be in love because that girl reminds me of Marlo, who's his wife. And he's like, wait a minute. That is Marlo. Because she was in Vegas for a while. And the Vision's like, oh, that's your wife? You must be very proud.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. Rick Jones is the shit.
So there you go. Jethro, Rick Jones. We want it. Raven Shadow wants to see it. He's got Faggy should get in touch with Raven Shadow. He's got it all planned out.
Bro.
Give him a call.
Call me, bro. Message me, bro.
All right. Where are we going next? Oh, we got one more.
Nice.
We get it queued up. All right. Last message. We're going to hear from First Time Mike.
What's up, Trick or Treat family? This is First Time Mike. How's everybody doing?
Buddy.
I'm back after a good long while with a review of Brooklyn 45, which I just watched yesterday.
Nice. Oh, wow.
I had some free time, and I've been wanting to watch this movie for a while because it was made by the man that gave us We Are Still Here, a movie which for a while I just ignored, but after your guys' recommendation, I watched and I really love this movie. This is very much a period set after the first New Year's after the end of World War II, and four friends get together with the husband of one of the other ones to not only celebrate New Year's, but to give support to their friend who has just lost his wife. And after a seance, things go downhill very quickly. Just from the trailer alone, I was expecting a horror tour de force of epic proportions with just strange happenings and all sorts of crazy weirdness and blood going on. But what I got is a very interesting character study that explores not only interpersonal relationships, but how war affects people. We see in this one how accusations of being a traitor to the country and the enemy within is used to manipulate, and how this concept destroys relationships and people, both within the family and without. Friends who have been together for so long, hold deep secrets, are forced to fight each other. And it's interesting watching the relationships switch from between Paul and Archie, and with their friend Marla, usually in the middle, going for sanity, and her husband Bob, who the others consider a milquetoast because he didn't fight in the war.
Yeah.
And it's interesting watching the interpersonal relationships. But the thing that I enjoyed most about this movie, it's this movie built up a tension where you're always you're waiting for something to happen to it all the time, and as the characters go back and forth in the discussions, you are just drawn in, but you're always in the back of your mind waiting for something to happen. And this builds up so much that when stuff actually does happen, it hits you harder than it would if it was just like crazy stuff here, crazy shit here, blood here, death here. This movie builds more tension than, for me personally, than a lot of movies that say this is what we're going to do and constantly have stuff going on. I was always watching the people go back and forth, but I'm also looking in the background. It's like, is there something happening here? Is there something happening here? Is somebody going to reveal a secret here? So some of the simplest scenes, there's a scene with a hairpin that made me cringe more than some of the other scenes in the movie. I loved all the acting. Larry Fessenden is always great. Anne Ramsey as Marla was great because she's trying to be the voice of reason until she has to go reach into some dark places she was during the war just to try to change somebody's mind. I'm not going to say if it works, but and the ending came as a shock to me because I thought it was going to go one way and it went totally the different way. And kind of like war and things would happen, this isn't a movie if you want a pat explanation of what's going on and if justice was really served. That's all I'm going to say. Brooklyn 45 is a great movie. I'm going to watch it again to see if I miss anything in the background.
Awesome.
I think it's a treat. And
oh, you got cut off.
Play back the entire message.
Well, first time Mike get cut off right at the end. What would he have said at the end, Raven Shadow, his sign off? First time.
Bombaleo.
No.
First time Mike out.
First time Mike drop.
First time Mike drop.
So, not sure why I got cut off at the end there, first time Mike, but I'm really glad you got a chance to see the film and certainly understand the nuance of it. And yeah, I think I really love that film. I actually have thought about it a few times since we watched it. It might be one I revisit before the end of the year, but yeah, I really, really dug that film, and I'm glad you liked it, first time Mike. And yeah, it's one that, you know what, I wouldn't mind getting some of the behind the scenes stuff on that one. Like, might be interesting to. I mean, we had Ted Gagan on the show before. We don't do as many interviews these days, but it might be interesting to see if Ted is about and if he might want to talk about it, because that was I think it's a lot of interesting stuff, and I can it'd be cool to hear some of the inspiration for it. And I know it was written with his late father, who was in the military, but still.
And that's the thing too, like even listening to the doing the episode and even some of the character stuff, like knowing what you said, that it was such a personal story from his dad's experience, like some things that we may have questioned, like, would they have been down with somebody that was, openly gay, at least amongst their friends in that time frame? That seems like maybe there were some things that maybe they did experience.
Yeah.
Like it seemed like he was, aside from the supernatural aspect of it, I'm sure there were real stuff there. I'd love to hear, like a director's commentary. Maybe we should slide to those DMs, see what's going on.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that. But it definitely worth a watch. It's on Shudder, so give it a look if you haven't already.
Yeah,
and
it's great. It's great.
That is it for voice messages. I hear it sounds like Ollie's is it his teeth floating? Is he gonna go?
Yeah, well, it's been thundering here too, so I think that's been running him amok.
Yeah, I gotcha.
But,
this was a different experience, Raven Shadow. I feel like we got casual Raven Shadow. Like, I feel like there's a different vibe to you being close to the camera.
That's weird.
Introspective and like I feel like in the studio, maybe you feel like you have to perform. Maybe this is the real Raven Shadow.
Ooh.
I guess we'll never know.
Behind the curtain.
Yeah. All right, let me just check on all the chats. I think we covered them all. Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean it's after midnight now. It's like literally 12:20. It's fucking late. Holy shit. So,
yeah.
I think we lost some people.
Yeah.
Not necessarily don't blame them. We even fucking lost one of our own. We lost MZ.
Yeah. We can't all make it. Yeah.
No.
We didn't all die first. Just MZ.
Yeah. All right, so I think let's wind this thing down, Raven Shadow. So why don't you say goodbye to the folks?
All right, folks. Thank you for the voicemails, and sorry for the lateness, and thank you for Johnny for making it work, because you are a fantastic podcaster.
But
I'm a sports entertainer. No. So yeah, Johnny, thank you for doing all your work, and we'll talk about troubleshooting. Not today, but
no, not today.
Sorry, not today or tomorrow.
It's not your fault either. It's that that computer was slow to begin with, and it's been 4 years since 4+ years I think since we got it. So,
Heavens.
So,
but yes,
there you go.
Until next time, and for this time, live fast, love hard, survive with your mask on.
All right, that is going to do it. We appreciate you guys tuning in for episode 572. Turned into a little duo at the end here. But appreciate MZ sticking with it for as long as he could. He was having internet issues, and I could tell it was frustrating the fuck out of him.
Yeah.
So
if you can, send him a message. Send him an emoji of a hug and a kiss, because he's those little pillow pants.
Yeah, tell him all the things that he didn't say were probably super smart.
Yeah.
Or all the things you couldn't hear anyways. All right, so
yo, what is going on?
This is the weirdest fucking episode. I feel like there's like a full moon tonight. I feel like I don't know, but you know what? It's over. So you guys don't even know how fucking miserable this was getting going for a while. Hour late. But hey, those podcast folks who aren't listening live, you have no idea. You have no idea. But you know what? If you watch the video feed, you can see Raven Shadow close up, since he's not in studio. He's close up, and you can see his you can see the reflection of his porn in his glasses.
Yeah.
You didn't know that, did you, Raven Shadow? No,
yeah, boy.
I'm just kidding.
Put it away.
All right, well, that's going to do it. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in to episode 572. Go check out The Blackening on VOD, and next week we'll do Beau is Afraid. Get those 3 hours booked now, because you're going to need them. If you have thoughts about the film, send them to podcast@trickortreatradio.com. Support us on Patreon, patreon.trickortreatradio.com, and go to trickortreatradio.com and support there. All right, that's it. All done. See ya.